Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and today are 375. It's the WNR375 SummerSlam party, and we are live. It is the biggest show ever, and for the first time ever, the four pillars of the WNR podcast together. I have a pleasure to be joined by Monty, Ultimate One, and Jaxie. Jax will join us later, but right now, let's say hello to, first and foremost, Monty. How you doing, man?
I'm making it, surviving somehow with so much wrestling going on. I'm just happy to be here again, and hella excited. I mean, we got shows, so much stuff to talk about. I don't even know where to start.
Well, without a doubt. Well, also we are joined by the Ultimate One. How you doing, fella?
No, I'm good, man. I mean, what we saw last night, I'm telling you right now, what we saw last night and where pro wrestling is at now, we're talking about the rebirth of pro wrestling. We waited how many years? Almost, 19 years, 20 years for it to have pro wrestling back. And you know what? I'm so happy that I'm part of this, and we're here to have fun and talk about all these damn wrestling shows that we had the last couple of weeks. It's just amazing, and I'm glad to be here with you guys.
Well, yeah, it's great to have everybody together. And like I said, Jaxie will be joining us in a little bit. But I'm going to ask you guys first, and I'll probably start with Monty. How is it to be a wrestling fan right now, eh?
It's special. Like again, you mentioned it. Last night was just like one of the most special nights I've ever like been a part of. As a fan, my heart was literally racing when the music hit and you heard the pop. And I put it in from my perspective. Think about it last year when the pandemic first began, and all the shows we worried about independent wrestling, like what was the future of that? We didn't like what is wrestling without a crowd? And then you just think about where we are now, even with the monster of COVID still looming. It is just amazing how far we've come just since last year, in my opinion. So it's amazing to be a wrestling fan right now.
It is probably the best things right now is actually to be into wrestling. I mean, Albert One, how do you think this has changed? You've been on the podcast now for about a year, and we're early in the year about how much it could possibly change, and it's just great times.
Listen, if you think about it, I think that the fact that we look back almost a year ago, when I first came into your podcast, and we did the All Out review, which was probably one of the worst pay-per-views because of what happened. Things just didn't fall into place. But if you look back at that, to where we at right now, a lot of it has to do with the Forbidden Door. Now, the Forbidden Door, I remember that me and you talked about it and how slow the process was, all because, first of all, a lot of these independent, or actually not even going to call them independent, these promotions were closed and there were not fans available, whatever. But AEW made it work. And the fact that somewhere in February, New Japan decided, look, we need to expand to the U.S. market, so let's work with a promotion. And not, and they already was working with Ring of Honor. So for them to work with AEW and just crack the door open slightly, now that door has been completely, knocked down because of Snyderversary. That whole Jay White showing up out of nowhere on Snyderversary now has the whole pro wrestling industry right now talking, because now you could have anybody. I'm talking about Nick Aldis show up at AEW. You could have a Kota Ibushi show up at AEW or NWA because of this Forbidden Door. And right now, if you added CM Punk into the mix, into this big mix right now, it's just amazing. I mean, I felt so emotional yesterday just hearing him talk about how he left 2005 and he's back at 221. So in other words, like I was telling Monty earlier, he doesn't even count the 16 years that has passed, because to him that wasn't professional wrestling. But this is a great time to be a professional wrestling fan. I put it last night. If that whole promo that CM Punk did last night did not touch the strings of your love for professional wrestling, you need to sit your ass down somewhere else and turn off the TV.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, and like I said, we've got such a huge show here today for SummerSlam. look at a couple of events as well. But let's deal with the biggest news story then. And CM Punk is all elite. And of course, it happened last night, AEW Rampage, and the crowd lost its mind as Cult of Personality began to play, and Punk made his way to the ring to take a moment to dive into the crowd and soak up some of the love from his hometown crowd as well. The Chicago native took some time to hug a few fans at ringside, a little overwhelmed by the moment, and then he had a great opening line about Britt Baker, saying that this must be what it feels like to be Britt Baker in Britsburg. And he said he heard the fans for 7 years, and now he's here. He isn't going anywhere. He said he needs to get himself healthy, both mentally and emotionally. He wasn't going to get better staying in the same place that got him sick. He sat in the middle of the ring and told the story why he chose to leave. And like you said, leaving Ring of Honor exit as well. He had a few scores to settle with a few guys, and of course working with the young ones like Darby Allin. Then we see Allin and Sting in the rafters, and Punk said he would face him in his first pay-per-view match at All Out. He said 7 years is a long time to wait for someone, and encouraged everybody to grab a free ice cream bar on him as he left the arena. Now, I know this is a bit different to British fans compared to like American fans, but I decided to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning last night to watch that moment. And boy, was I glad. Monty, what did you think? This was just special.
Yeah, exactly. Special is the first thing that comes to mind. You know, history. Just one of those times in wrestling where it's something it's like reminds me of any moment you just love about pro wrestling that you just think of, whether it's Austin in the beer truck from many years ago, or and then the pop. I want to go back. That pop, I don't know. It could have been the loudest pop I've ever heard, possibly. I don't know if Dolph Ziggler. I remember Dolph Ziggler winning the world title years ago, and that pop being special. It's always, special pops every now and then. But man, that is just like one of the best environments. I don't know how you can look at that show and not want to almost be there. Like I almost wish I was Chicagoan for a second there. It was just that just felt so special to be, and I felt I was honored to be a part of it. I was one of those people who, for years now, since the time has went on, I wasn't a CM Punk chant type of person. I get it. I understood why everyone, but like even in WWE, after hearing his podcast with Colt Cabana and him explaining why he left, why would anyone ever think that he would come back? But it makes so much sense as AEW has only built this profile now, and just like you mentioned earlier. Where we are in total, just like for every promotion, and how it's just you just got so many possibilities. Yeah, last night just is if you consider yourself a wrestling fan, last night is what we watch for. Last night is what you pay for merch for. Last night is what professional wrestling is all about, and that's what I felt when I watched that segment.
Yeah, I think it was unbelievable. One, did you think it was one? Cause it is personally for me, and Monty said it as well, one of the biggest pops I've ever heard. Definitely in the top 5. What do you think about that, and what do you think about CM Punk being in AEW?
Well, listen, it's true because he did mention, Monty just mentioned about the Zach Ziggler's win over Alberto Del Rio, but that pop last night, I mean, I've been watching wrestling for so long, and I've seen pops. This pop topped even Britt Baker's last week. So it was amazing. I had goosebumps just seeing that. Like, and that's why I put the first thing I put on Twitter was pro wrestling was missing CM Punk, because it's like the fact that he came back, now pro wrestling is back where it's supposed to be. He was like the missing ingredient and whatnot. And I think this is, out of all the pops I've seen, this is number one. I've seen a lot of pops. This was incredible. I mean, I got a little emotional. There were wrestling fans crying there. I was like, wow. That's the only word that came out of my mouth. Wow. Think about it. This is a guy who's been out of wrestling for 7 years. That people were trying to get his shirt from the one he was wearing, and the site crashed. I mean, the website crashed because people couldn't get through. As of this morning, somebody told me that they were still trying to get his shirt, and the site kept crashing. That's how popular this man is. You know what I'm saying? Even though he had a lot of people, he getting negative feedback because he wasn't ready to come back, and then there was word on the dirt sheets that he was trying to get Tony Khan to give him almost $2 million, $3 million a year. Now we look at it, we don't know if it's true or not, but like I said, now think about it, guys. So they got CM Punk. Imagine if Adam Cole does not sign with WWE and goes to AEW. If Adam Cole comes to AEW, AEW don't need nobody else. They have a roster in there that's going to be ridiculous. No one will be able to compete with them.
But the thing is, as well, with AEW is that they can make a monster signing every month, and you do Punk this month. Like I said, Adam Cole could show up in a couple of months, and then Daniel Bryan in 3, Bray Wyatt in 4. Like the talent levels at this moment is just incredible. I mean, Monty, who would have thought AEW would be in this position? You know.
It's great. I agree. And you think about it, like I said, a few years ago, people were telling jokes. I know everyone has heard it now. The T-shirt company joke. It takes them forever to sell out arenas. This arena sold out, and no one even really knew if he really was going to show up.
Exactly. That is true.
They're selling out New York markets. Like it's like they are growing at a rapid pace. Like at this pace, in the next 2 to 3 years, can you honestly tell me that you know whether or not they can't be like as mainstream as what we know and love? Yes, it takes time because we know how the history that WWE has, but the growth at this pace and just the popularity. And again, I mention this all the time. It's the feeling. When I'm watching an AEW product, everything about it just feels different than what I'm grown used to over the years when you're watching the WWE products. Like it's certain things I can expect from WWE. When I'm watching AEW, I am fully engaged and ready for anything to happen. And that's what pro wrestling, even in WWE, used to do for me. So it's just, AEW is expanding and growing way beyond I can even imagine at this time because, like I said, they just started 2 years ago.
It's crazy.
Let me follow.
Go on, sorry, go on.
Let me follow that up. It's true what he said. They sold out the United Center, right? Before they even mentioned about the CM Punk and all that, over here in New York, they in July the tickets went on sale. They already had 15,000 people already bought tickets to the After Ash Stadium here in New York, and they still had another 3,000. 15,000 people, and you don't know what's the car, who's coming out, and then, and the funny part is, they sold 15,000 people before they mentioned that they had signed Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. What that tells you, there's nothing else to say.
But this is the thing with wrestling at this moment in time is that people would say, "Oh well, WWE's kind of like be all and end all." There is so much more choice, and in part thanks to kind of AEW being open with the talent that they've got. And like we said, we're going to come back to Punk later once Jaxie joins us. But we're going to have a look at events that happened last weekend, and one of them was Triple Mania. Now I've never seen a AAA event before in my life, and I decided to sit down and watch this in full. Ultimate One is here. He is a multilingual as well, so he'll help me out.
Yeah, I know my Spanish.
I would say, Monty, have you ever seen a AAA event before, or you anything know about the product?
I know. I definitely am familiar with certain not a history, but like certain people who have come from AAA. And I'm also familiar with certain moments which have not always been the greatest. Like my introduction as a viewer to AAA is literally like watching them screw up years ago on Botchamania. So that's not really the best introduction into a wrestling company, but I've always been like a fan, especially of the style of wrestling. I love Lucha Libre style wrestling, even though I have not been able to see many AAA shows before this one.
Now, what about you, Ultimate One? Are you up to date with everything AAA?
Well, the AAA, it's funny that I watched the AAA, and before I watched the AAA last week, I know CMML lost a group, which is in Spanish called Generación Dinamita, which is Generation Dynamite. Those are the 3 guys with the mask. Those guys were big in CMML. So for them showing up at Triple Mania and making a big impact and then joining another faction in there, made it interesting. I don't follow Triple A unless it's like right now, who's the champion right now? Goes as Lucha Brothers, the tag team champion, and Kenny Omega. So whenever I get a chance to see like a one-on-one match like that, I watch it. As far as what's going on there, I don't follow it like that. But when I do watch the Triple Mania, and I was watching this yesterday, and I was hitting James yesterday. The only thing I hate is the commentary because the guy is just screaming his lungs out and driving me. I'm like, dude, shut up already. Like, but after a while, you get used to it. The style I first saw Triple A back in 1994. We're talking about when Eddie Guerrero was with Art Barr and they were I forgot the name of the damn tag team. But I go way back, Conan or Rey Mysterio Jr. when he was like 16, 17 years old. So I followed them, but then I stopped. But Triple Mania to me has always been a good show. Sometimes they have little gimmick stuff going on in there, and it kind of like makes you don't want to watch it. But after a while, always the main event is pretty good. There's always a mask versus hair match, and they go all crazy about that. And I enjoy it. It's not that bad.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked about the commentators, and I got into it because they were really annoying me at the start. After 2 was going like, and I'm gonna butcher it now, but it's like poquito. After
He'd be like por poquito, and I'm like, which means in Spanish almost got the pen. So I'm like, yeah, he kept saying that throughout the whole damn card. I'm like, dude, just shut the hell up. But Triple Mania, I mean, the only thing that I don't know if you want to start the beginning of the match, which was a Marvel edition. That's what they called it.
Yeah, I want to get Monty's thoughts on this because Marvel have actually sponsored professional wrestling, and we've got Marvel Lucha Libre, Team Leande Americana defeating Team Terra Purpura. Is that all right, Altman?
Terror por púrpura. That was
it.
Yeah. And when it turns out that Terror por púrpura, who was under that mask? I told you.
Yeah, you would say it was Brian Cage involved in that.
Yeah, Brian Cage. You know why I knew it was Brian Cage? One, when he was trying to do the powerbomb, he does that thing like he was smoking weed and then he turns it off on his back. That was Brian Cage. He was the Terror por púrpura.
Well, this match, I'm going to read it like, this is brilliant. Fan of domination when Incredible Hulk broke through a brick wall to save the day. Captain America hit Venom with a Spanish fly, followed by a 630 senton from Spider-Man to win. Those characters aren't luchador names, but I use them, of course, give sense of what happened. I mean, Monty, can you believe it?
The Incredible Hulk came out of nowhere, broke a wall.
And this is wrestling, people.
Yes.
Like,
it's funny because I used to work with Marvel back then, so I didn't know they had a working relationship with Triple Mania.
Well, I think they've just actually started like sponsorship, but you'd think they would go to like WWE first, because who doesn't want to see like Iron Man versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam?
The Incredible Hulk looked horrible though.
Yeah, he looked like shit.
You have to see that shit. Then the guy who was dressed as supposed as Spider-Man, his name was Arcana, and I'm like, that's supposed to be like some fucking I don't know. It was fucking strange.
I can't believe like we saw the event. One thing about is that we've got the 6 signing, of course, but what got me was the massive advertising. But when every time I went to hard camera, you just had like 2/3 of this huge Mexican like advertising. I didn't have a clue what was selling, but you just go, what?
Dude, Monty, when I tell you, if you haven't watched this, the camera angles were fucking horrible. When I tell you they kept cutting, and I was like,
I was confused. Like the pacing just. Like you said, the cut.
Yeah, and then they showed this big advertising of El Banco Mexico, and I was like, they show more the more commercialized stuff instead of bringing in the camera into the ring. You didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, it was many moments where I was like, how is this? What am I watching? I was I don't know if I was lucky or unlucky enough to have some of my younger siblings here. And oh my goodness, they were freaking out. at the Marvel inspired gimmicks, and they didn't know what was going. No, it's hilarious that you mentioned how Incredible Hulk looked, because I'm telling you, my brother-in-law literally was like, "What the hell happened to Incredible Hulk?"
He had a bad haircut. You know, like he hasn't taken a haircut in months.
Yeah.
And then he just stood standing. He stood in front of Terra Perpora, whatever, Brian Cage, and he just stood there looking at each other. I'm like, and the match finished, and I'm like, okay, what happened? I mean, I was even hitting James on the Twitter, like, what the hell did I just watch? Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, whatever
fun.
we were smoking, it was good shit at the time, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
We move on to the Copa Bardell, which is a mini Raw Rumble, and Mr. Iguana won. Other participants of the Rumble match included Tito Santana, no, not that one, Drago,
Not that
Nina Garcia, which I just quite like his name. This was mental. The Spanish Fly was amazing.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You should just mention Nino Arbuguesa. Nino Arbuguesa in Spanish means hamburger boy. That's what the guy was called, hamburger boy. So I'm telling my roommate, I'm like, oh, look, they got a hamburger boy. Where's Cheeseburger from Ring of Honor? You know what I'm saying? Give me some fries. Mr. Iguana, I mean, he wrestled through the whole match with the damn stuffed doll of Iguana on him and smacking everybody with it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I mean, you had a couple of guys there, Carta Brava Jr., Tito Santana, and who was the other? Mocha Corta. They were part of a group called the Powers of the North. That's a faction over there. They did pretty well. It's funny how they allow women to get in that Rumble. You saw that, right?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Again, I thought it was tripping out, but
yeah, they had a girl in there that her gimmick was, if she grabs you, she'll give you a kiss, and the guys were trying to avoid it. I didn't understand that shit.
I think I lived that life the opposite way.
Yeah. And then they had another girl called Mamba. She did pretty well, but you know, this whole shit was just, the only guys that I knew that, because I seen them in the past, was Villano 3 Jr. because of his father. Hamburger Boy, I already knew him because I saw him last year, the year before, in Triple Mania. Drago, I seen them wrestle in MLW. The other guys, I never seen them before, but this was a crazy ass match. There was a guy, Junior, whatever. He was doing commentating. He was supposed to be part of that, and I don't even know if he got eliminated.
I weren't sure what was going on in that match. It was absolutely
a total fucking mess.
I was lost. After the trophy celebration, as you mentioned earlier as well, Generation Dynamite showed up. Who recently left CMLL as the World Trios Champion. And then some serious business. Title versus title. Ratsu defeated Apache to become double champ. Both the Impact Knockouts Championship and the AAA Reina Del Reina's Championship were on the line. The match was rife with just shenanigans. The heel ref, which I thought, what the fuck is a heel ref doing here? But still, we see all sorts of stuff going on. And so, since then, the Venus de Malo double armbar for the victory. Monty, did you see this match, and what did you think?
Yes, I did see it. I always seem to come away recently, really, even when she was in the WWE system, I thought this about Deonna. But man, Deonna Purrazzo is just so technically sound and really, really good. Like, man, I thought the actual wrestling, like you said, the shenanigans was what they were. Heel referees is something that I'm not as familiar with, but this show made you kind of familiar with a lot of stuff you're not really used to. But I enjoyed the match. I thought it was solid, you know, and I really loved like the technical work from both ladies.
Go on.
You know what I'm gonna say about my girl Deonna Purrazzo. You know, I love her to death. I've been following this woman since Ring of Honor day until she ended up in prison in NXT and then in USA. But I think again, Deonna Purrazzo is a skilled wrestler when she works. Technically sound skills. This woman is just, I mean, she's number one in my eyes in the world right now. The heel referee, this is, unfortunately, this is part of AAA. They do have, they used to do that a lot before, the heel referee, and I think that's what messed up this match. To me, the fact that the referee, yeah, the referee was getting involved too much. He pushed Apache, even when they had the introductions of the belt, he pushed Apache to the side. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And yeah, I think that's what messed it up, but we know for a fact that she was going to win the belt. I mean, she's like the third knockouts champion who defeated someone with the Reina championship. I mean, we got Valkyrie did it twice, Tessa Blanchard did it once, and now Deonna Purrazzo is the third one to win that. I mean, it was a good match because what these women brought into the match, but the heel referee, I think, kind of messed it up a little bit to me.
Yeah, you could see this was a big moment for Deonna, and I think this is something massive for her. The match was okay, but the ending was a fucking mess. Up next, AAA Tag Team Championship, Phoenix and Pentagon retained against Kino and Laredo Kid and Taurus and Brian Cage in a three-way match. And the match was full of crazy moves. And thanks to talent being under the AEW banner, of course, seeing Black Taurus and Impact, that Volcano impressed me with Springboard 450 in and out. I thought this was a great show. Monty, did you see this? And was this entertaining? Like, it was.
I must say, this is really when my senses of like you pointed out earlier with the cuts and the pace that they all were wrestling at. This is when I was almost at my wit's end. The way this show was like produced, or at least the pace. Not saying I didn't like it, because the match was itself, and the moves they were doing were pretty good, and of course, the Lucha Brothers, I love them. I've never seen them not entertain me. I was very impressed with Vikingo, El Hijo del Vikingo, the son of a Viking, right? Am I right there?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, and
his father was his father was known as the Viking.
Cool. Okay, all right, that's what I figured. That. So. It was good. It was really, really good stuff. Like what they were doing in the ring and the match itself, I enjoyed it. I had a fun time with it, but I must say it was a lot of camera cuts. It was a lot of just like, it was hard to keep up with that time. And I think maybe that's just the style of their trios matches, or like these multi-man matches that AAA or Lucha Libre style like matches are kind of chaotic like that. And this is, just like any of them. But I loved it. I thought it was fun.
To me, I think, it was a fun match. I think this is one of the best matches they had during the night. Seeing Brian Cage, of course, being a beast like always. Laredo Kid and Hijo del Vikingo, I've seen them wrestle before, and again, in one of those Triple Media. So when he's in that ring, he's going to bring you excitement. The Lucha Bros, hey, they're the Lucha Bros. And, I mean, this is why they're the AAA Tag Team Champion. But this was perfect as far as that camera angle, because they were making sure you got to see everything. You know what I'm saying? It was fast-paced, everything, and you got to see almost everything. You know what I'm saying? I guess they were trying to do that every match, and you can't do that with every match. But the Lucha Bros still dominate. They've been like the champions, I think, for over a year and a half already with those belts. And it was a fun match. I mean, especially with Vikingo and Laredo Kid hit those 450 splash on top of Taurus and Phoenix. I mean, that was a crazy move. I mean, I never seen anything like that before.
No, that was absolutely mental. Up next, Lucha del Empresa. Leon Prasa defeated AAA. Puma King EMT Azul represented Leon Prasa. Pagano, Murder Clown, and Chessman representing Team AAA. I just thought this was hardcore lucha. Is that fair?
I mean, listen, I think, I don't know who produced this match, but it looked like the freaking Impresa was kicking fucking Paganos and Chessman and the Murder Clown. They were beating them up throughout most of the match. And then, out of nowhere, you got Chessman turning on Pagano. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I was like, okay, whoever produced this match, you know, and it's funny because the commentators were saying that Murder Clown I guess the storyline, Murder Clown was trying to keep peace between these two because these two were rivals back then. Now all of a sudden they just decided to go at it, and that lost me. That match lost me completely. And even after the match, these guys still were fighting. I'm like, okay, next match, please.
Yeah, I agree. It was a mess at times. I was like, I agree 100% because I was watching the match and the Murder Clown and that team were dominating most of the match like that. And then, like you said, 2 or 3 moves later, they all have went through either a ladder or a table, and or they're fighting each other. And I was just like, what is going on? I was just, I was definitely ready for the next match by the time this was over.
I was saying to myself, when this shit is over, I was like, please, hurry up.
Yeah, it was bad. That bad. I agree.
Well, we saw Conan asking Andrade if he could be in his corner. He got kind of rejected, so he went to Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega against Andrade was next for the AAA Mega Champione, I'm going to say, which is probably close enough.
Yeah.
Omega.
Did very well.
Thank you. Omega had Conan. Well, his big review was Ric Flair. The match went 25 minutes. Chicanery Omega tried to cheat. A ref bump allowed Flair to get involved. Chops and a punch knocked Omega down to the mat. Andrade and Flair slapped on dual figure 4s. And once the referee was arrived, Conan into action. We see Andrade getting hit with a title belt and a one-winged angel finish. The job and another fucking heel ref. But one of the things I love, I don't understand Spanish, but the high pace, your boy Ric Flair. I knew what they're talking about.
Yeah, they turned it into English right after Flair came out. No longer Spanish. No more mi casa es su casa. They were like, oh, Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. I said, oh, they became English now. Then
what do we think
my
of
thoughts
making a massive impact and also about the match as well?
Listen, Ric Flair showing up in there. I mean, he's a smart dude because he figured he got released from WWE. WWE cannot force that 90-day clause, whatever, in Mexico because that's another country. And it was great. It was a good way to bring in, let everybody know, look, this is going to be probably my future son-in-law. Supposedly Charlotte was in Mexico with them also, but, I guess it was a no-show, I guess, because WWE doesn't allow it. But let me tell you something about this match. Triple A ran with this match. This match was awesome in my eye. This is probably one of the best match of the whole card because, it went 25 minutes. These guys went at it. Now, if these guys were to ever meet in AEW, they had to top that match. That match was, I give it a 4 3/4 of that match. All right, there's no way, even if they come to the AEW and have it all out or Full Gear, whatever, they have to top that match. That match was awesome. I was amazed. I'm like, Andrade's, Omega was wrestling a way that I haven't seen him wrestle in a long time. He dominated most of the match. Andrade did his thing, but I think Omega dominated the match. I didn't like the damn stupid heel referee again, but this match was awesome in my eyes. It's probably one of the top 10 matches of the year for me.
Yeah, it's a great match. Monty, are you looking forward to seeing Ric Flair versus Kenny Omega?
I'm not necessarily looking forward to Ric Flair versus Kenny. I'm not looking forward to Ric Flair.
Hey, he said he's
anybody.
never retiring. So
that is true, but it would be hilarious to watch Ric Flair try to make another classic with Sting in AEW or something one day. That would be sick. In more ways than one. The match itself, though, with Andrade and Kenny, two of the most talented guys in the world. I'm again, this is what happens when you watch a lot of pro wrestling and you're familiar with both guys. You already know that it's gonna be good. You just kind of just sit back and let them do what they do. And the Ric Flair surprise was just a nice touch, like you said, with everyone. We all know their connection, and why this made so much sense. And you can't tell me that Ric Flair putting a double figure four lock with Andrade on Kenny, and a figure four lock on Conan from Ric Flair. That's like, come on, that's memorable as hell.
Yeah,
I felt bad for the mask versus hair match that had to follow it, because I knew what was going to catch the headlines. If you see what I'm saying, like, I understood immediately. But the match itself was great, and I only think this is the only thing I want now. I want this same match, but just with more of a build, so we can get some more heat. And like you said, maybe on an AEW platform. And I'm telling you, they will blow the roof off wherever they do it.
But they're gonna have to top that. I mean, that match was that good. So it for them,
you add some heat though. Just imagine it. Like, you add
that is true. Yeah, or make it more entertaining if they sign Ric Flair in AEW. And now, instead of having Chavo Guerrero Jr. being part of this and put Flair in the mix as his manager, But that all depends on what happens with this Death Triangle stuff in AEW. But it's true. But Scorpion and Psycho Clown had to follow. Again, who made these matches and who set up the card? Because I told after I finished watching Andrade and Omega, I said, okay, that's the main event. I totally forgot about Psycho Clown versus Ray Scorpion for hair versus. I was like, what? That should have been the main event. I guess they didn't do it that way, but it was an enjoyable event, though. But no, I mean, Scorpion and Psycho Clown to follow that, that was very hard.
Well, apparently a couple of things here. First off, Dave Meltzer, fucking one of the most famous people in wrestling, I can't say his name, Mr. Dave. He said Andrade was scheduled to defeat Omega, but AEW asked Triple H to hold off. It kind of makes sense considering Omega dropped the Impact title to Christian on Rampage. And also, apparently, this is Mexican heritage or history. A mask versus hair match or any match like that will always be a main event at a show, no matter if a better match is just before it as well. I didn't understand, but, the main event was Psycho Clown defeating Ray Scorpion. And in the end, Goya Kong turned on her brother to kick Psycho in the nuggets. And then a Scorpion accidentally collided with Kong. That allows Psycho space to kick a Scorpion into the jewels. And an up and over Torito pinfall earned Psycho the win. And the Scorpion received a haircut. There's losing stipulation once they found the right pair of scissors. This was a hard-hitting main event. Both played heavily.
The clippers didn't even fucking work.
I just felt so sorry for that girl. Like, she's crying.
What? I said the batteries ran out. The clippers are not working. I'm like, what the hell? It took them like almost 5 minutes to cut the guy's hair.
I don't know. Monty, what did you think of this main event?
I came away from this match. Like, I don't see how you couldn't just look at even if it was, I don't know what they could have did, because I felt like they worked their asses off, at least, for most of the match. The only thing, like you just mentioned, that finish. Just think about what you just said was the finish of a very, very important match like that. Like you said, they overbooked a lot of these finishes, in my opinion, including this one. But the match, like I said, you work your ass off. It's a match like you mentioned, the heritage that's associated with mask versus hair matches or mask versus mask matches. Like, we know, I get that. That make a lot of sense when you really think about it, even if it don't make sense on this card. How can you look at that match, watch how hard they work, and then still realize, oh my goodness, it doesn't matter, because the only thing everyone is going to talk about is Ric Flair putting the figure four lock on Conan.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is, this match is like, I don't know, Monty, if you agree with me. Mm-hmm. It was like, it was a hardcore match, but it was missing something, because Ray Scorpion was dominating the majority of the match. So I understand that the storyline probably, because you got to have the crowd, feeling pity for Psycho Clown. The guy breaks his. Right. First of all, if it's a mask versus mask, why would you break the man's mask?
Yeah.
Can somebody explain that shit to me? And then he gets stabbed in the head with a fucking beer bottle, and then the other guy gets cracked with a beer bottle. And they were doing this match was overproduced, like you said, Monty, very overproduced. And I don't know, it looks like the crowd wasn't in it. There was something missing. And again, how can you follow an Omega versus Andrade match with this, ECW type of wrestling match because that's what it was.
Well, overall, 1,000 in a big arena, but I think it was an enjoyable show. Monty, what was your match of the night, and what are you going to score it out of 10?
Okay, out of 10, I'll give it like maybe like a 7.5 or maybe an 8 for at least just like in my overall like one. Like if I can wrap this show up to me in one word, it would be fun because, like I said, even with all its flaws, even with all the things I did not understand, I came away from the show entertained, and I will say I had genuine. It was definitely some fun moments. The match of the night, obviously for me, is Omega and Andrade. Again, of course with their caliber, you can almost expect better than that almost because I just like I said, I really hold both of them in some of the highest light when it comes to in-ring work. So yeah, that's my match of the night. But overall, I think this show was fun, and I give it around like an 8.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair to say. Oh, but one.
I think the match of the night, of course, is going to be Andrade and Omega. I'm agreeing with Monty on that. As far as the show was concerned, I mean, it started off a little crazy because I saw this Marvel Edition match, and I was like, oh my God, what am I watching? But overall, the fact that I think Triple H took advantage of getting Generation Dynamite out, which is a big tag team, 6-man tag team that that just left the competition CMML, and now they show up at one of Triple H's biggest show. Was a good move that they made. Overall, the battle royal was cool, even though it was a little crazy at times. So I'll give it a 7. I mean, I'll give it a 7. The match of the night was Omega and Andrade. They stole the show. I don't think anybody was able to compete with that match because, again, the only thing I think that messed it up, was the heel referee. Because not even Deonna Purrazzo, which is my baby, I call it my baby when it comes to a women's wrestling division, her match wasn't even that great because of the heel referee. But the Omega Andrade's, again, like I said, if they're gonna do it again in the AEW platform, they better top it the way this match was. So I'll give this a 7.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8.25 because I don't think they're going to see the Hulk smash through a wall and be able to face Thanos and Spider-Man. I mean, I just...
Oh my God!
Stuff,
you gave it to 8 because of the Hulk? Oh man!
Yeah, I thought the Andrade Omega match dragged it down a little bit. You know?
He had a bad haircut. So that's okay. Points away from it.
No, like I said, it was an interesting event, most definitely, and a lot of wrestling last weekend. It wasn't the weirdest happen because the weirdest match was Enzo Amore versus Jerry Lawler in a casket match, and that took place at WrestleFest 25 with Laura picking up the win over the former WWE superstar. Yeah, I said that. Right, so we're going to move on.
What the hell are we talking about?
When did this happen? Jerry Lawler and Enzo in a casket match?
Yeah, happened last weekend.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is what we're doing now? Jerry the King Lawler? Jerry the King Lawler getting in casket matches with Enzo? What the fuck?
I know. It's when I read it, I had to go check it because I thought it was just a lie. But in fact, it happened.
Thank God for New Japan Resurgence. I probably didn't even bother them. I didn't even know that happened.
Well, speaking of Japan Resurgence, we're going to have a look at this now as well. And the last time I checked in with Japan was actually with Monty. You introduced me to it because you've been a fan of New Japan for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah. Let's see, going on 5 years, I think, in total now. Right around, about 5 years now, 2016, 17-ish. So, yeah.
So it's been a little while. How long
you don't watch New Japan, James?
No, I watch it now, but like I said, the last time was kind of like Monty introducing it because I watched the Wrestle Kingdom, but I wasn't like a regular viewer, so this was just kind of getting us all involved. Like I said, you sound a bit of an expert. How long have you been watching New Japan?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
I've been watching New Japan. I've been watching New Japan since 88. So I stopped watching it.
I wasn't alive yet.
Yeah, 1988. That's when they were having. Matter of fact, that's when WCW used to have the big super shows over there in Japan. And you had the Steiner brothers going over to Japan wrestling Bam Bam Bigelow and Big Van Vader for the IWGP Tag Team Champions. But I stopped watching it. I think it was 2000 and it was around 5. So I really didn't catch up when Nakamura and Okada and the John Cena from Japan. I forgot his name. Hiroshi Tanahashi. So those days I really I stopped watching them. I started watching it again, I believe 2014, and that's when Bullet Club was in its early stages. So forget after that for Bullet Club, I never watched. I never stopped watching it. So I follow New Japan.
He's not the only one who stopped, by the way, around 2005.
Yeah, because the thing was that because New Japan was suffering because of once World Championship Wrestling closed down. Now you can't have independent. You have the wrestlers that used to come to New Japan like a Ric Flair, whatever, because WWE picked it up, and so now you have that issue, but but once they started picking up again, once they created Bullet Club 2013, I think it was 2013, May of 2013. After that, it started blowing up. You had Chaos, you had Gobernador Japón didn't show up after I think up to 2015. So it was really Bullet Club, Chaos, Blue, whatever with Nagata. So you had little groups here and there.
The babyface locker room, as I call it.
Yeah. So you know what? And it was a good time. I mean, and I'm glad that they still, even though, because of the pandemic over there, they having issues right now again. I think Shingo Takagi and Bushi just came out positive with the COVID. That's why they weren't on the Summer Struggle event. So right now it's getting very interesting. The fact that now New Japan's in the United States, they got New Japan Strong. And let me tell you something, James. If you really want to catch New Japan, as far as that, New Japan Strong, those shows for Fridays are awesome.
Yeah.
And New Japan is my favorite. So.
Yeah, well, let's start the action. August 14th, we've got Alex Kozlov, Kevin Kelly, and a drama king on commentary, and even Kelly got a chant. I like the setting, bar the hard cam, but we'll get onto that in a minute. First match, Carl Fredericks versus Alex Coughlin, if I'm right. Fredericks fought Coughlin. He fought off a German suplex and sat Coughlin across the battle for a suplex position until Fredericks hit the manifest destiny for the win. I didn't mind either guy. I weren't really sure what this, when you're getting introduced to people, you're thinking they didn't do it wrong. Pretty solid match.
Listen, Alex Coughlin, this guy is one of those LA dojo guys that he's working with Shibata. I think he should be graduating already. He had a match with Josh Alexander at New Japan Strong, and he gave Josh Alexander a run for his money. Coughlin is one guy that you gotta watch. Who he wrestle again?
Carl Fredericks, yeah.
Carl Fredericks.
Carl Fredericks, yeah. Carl Fredericks is another guy who, and within the last 4 or 5 months, this guy has come up the rankings on New Japan Strong. He just wrestled Tom Lawler for the open weight championship.
Open weight.
Yeah. So these guys, Coughlin and Frederick, those guys are from the LA dojo, but Frederick, I think he graduated already. So that match was a decent match. It brought me back to where when I watched the New Japan shows where they open up the cards with the young lions. So those two guys, I saw them when they first started. So it was a decent match. I liked the match.
And I think that's what I like the most. You just brought it up, Ultimate. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Ultimate, you just brought it up. That's what I love the most about watching not only Strong, but watching matches like Fredericks and Coughlin. When being there from day one. I remember in 2019, before he won the Young Lion Cup that year, looking at Carl Fredericks and just like, okay, I can see what they see in him. Like he got what they looking for. He has a motor. He has a great motor. Has charisma. You can already see it. So I just love watching, and you'll see as we continue down this card, is other guys that we'll talk about who are maybe graduating, maybe about to graduate, who you can just see it with every match how they're just getting better and better and better. And that's the one thing I love about New Japan Young Lions system is just you just watch these, like, we don't know, like this could be the next Okada, the next Bullet Club star, whatever it is right in your face when you're watching guys like Coughlin and Fredericks. And I think that's what I took away from the match. Not only it being solid and me enjoying it, I just saw this is the future right here right in front of my eyes.
Yep, that is true.
Next match, Ren Narita and Clark Connors defeating Fred Rosser, Rocky Romero, and Weird Yuta. The interactions between Rosser were kind of the highlight here. Connors counted into a backdrop, and TJP hit a diving crossbody for the mildly anticlimactic victory. Fred looked great, though. This was a really fun match.
Yeah, Fred Rosser, I mean, this guy, it's like he rejuvenated his career, because this is a guy who I think, honestly, WWE didn't know how to use him like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
And now you see him. This guy, he had I think it was a match with Hikuleo. I think he beat Hikuleo. I'm not sure, but they had like a full count anyway. And Fred Rosser showed me, that he could wrestle. This guy could wrestle. I mean, he called himself No Days Off. I mean, this guy's, the way he wrestles now is nowhere compared to when he was in WWE. And this guy, and the only thing is that, he had, I think it was Narita. Narita was part of the tag team, right?
Yeah.
So, I think those two are going to be now feuding or start something. But Fred Rosser, I mean, and then you got TJP. TJP, I mean, this is a guy who I mean, is a freaking, he's been in the business for almost 20-something years. And this guy could wrestle. So, and then you got Clark Connors in that mix. That guy, he's another guy that he reminds me of Chris Benoit. His style, the way he wrestles. So, that right there, like I said earlier, and Monty saying, this is the future of the business. You got guys like Fred Rosser, who's a veteran. You got like JL Kratos. You got Tom Lawler. These are the veterans. But you got that young crop in there, like a TJP, even though he's been in the business for 20 years. That guy's still young, So, I mean, you gotta enjoy it, man. You have to enjoy it.
And you mentioned Fred, and I want to point out, you made such a great point. When he was Darren Young in WWE, I can't even think of any time where even maybe then, but I don't even think he ever wrestled when he had Bob Backlund in his corner towards the end. But I don't remember them ever giving him a chance. Right?
He was with Bob Backlund.
Right. Make Darren Young great again, apparently, or whatever it was. It was weird. But either way it go, they never really let him showcase his skill when it came to one-on-one. Even in tag team matches, when he was with Titus, he was the workhorse of that team. Titus was the hot tag guy. Like, Darren Young has always had potential to be what you see now. So I love that he's in a place like New Japan where wrestling is the only thing that really matters when it comes to, like, all, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have any of the other tools that other companies look for, or you don't need to have them in New Japan. I'm just saying the most important thing to them and that fan base is, what are you doing once the bell starts? And he's a great example of that. But Ren Narita is another one of those guys, by the way. It was great to see them going back and forth, because not only is it great to see him just working with a veteran, he's another one of those people I've watched from the very beginning as a young lion. He was always always impressive, even when he was smaller. I am happy when I just get to see him gradually build muscle. Like, you see what I'm saying? Little things like that is what I notice, and it's just what I appreciate so much when I watch the young guys. And of course, like you said, TJP is one of the greatest.
Yeah, and the one thing that a lot of wrestling fans probably don't, I mean, they see this guy in AEW. He's part of the best friend. He's sometime in the losing end. Wheeler Yuta, that guy, he is, I mean, I'll give it a couple of more years before he start making his name. I mean, and he start winning championships. This guy, I followed him from Ring of Honor. He has some great matches with Jonathan Gresham. And again, he's in New Japan, and he was part of the tag team. And this guy, he impresses me every time he's in the ring. Yes, he's always in the losing end, but I mean, as a wrestling fan, you got to look at it. Okay, he's losing now, but where he gonna be down the line, maybe a year and a half to 2 years from now? You know what I'm saying? And where is New Japan Strong going to be at a year and a half or two? He may be one of the top guys in a couple of years in New Japan Strong. So just bringing that up. So you got to enjoy these guys because you don't get to see them all the time, especially New Japan, especially in New Japan platform. Because the New Japan wrestling is a whole different animal. You know what I'm saying? That's strong style. If you ain't down with that strong style, you're not going to make it in New Japan.
One of the things that I liked about what New Japan did overall with this show as well is that even if you don't watch it all the time or you don't watch, like you said, Strong, the wrestlers that were featured have been dotted in and put in Impact and AEW throughout the whole year. So you're going to recognise someone or somewhere, and I think that's quite clever how they did. And I know we're being kind of serious about the action, but Clark Connors does look like mini Adam Page. I'm just gonna say it. Like
a miniature Page. That's a good.
Yeah, literally.
We're gonna call him Little Page.
Up next, Chris Dickinson, Fred Yee, and Leo Rush. Oh no, and Yumura and Adrian Quest. Fuck it. Defeated Team Phil, Tom Lawyer, J.R. Kratos, Danny Lime, Isaacs, and Joel Nelson. Brody King was really supposed to in this match, but couldn't do it due to unforeseen circumstances. But it was a really enjoyable tag match nonetheless.
Out of all these guys here, Fred Yehi is one of the guys that I also saw him teaming up with Wheeler Yuta in Ring of Honor, so that it was nice to see him. Yuya Anemura, I definitely seen him in Japan. He's one of those young lions. I think he's going to be big. I say probably in a year or two, depending once they don't wear those black trunks no more. So he's one guy. Yuya Imura, he was in the G1 Supercard. Not the Supercard, I'm sorry, G1 Climax last year. And I think he won one match, if I'm correct. But he was in that ring with Minoru Suzuki. He was in that ring with, I think Evil. He was in the ring with a bunch of guys. And he showed that he's one of those young lions that has learned through the process. So, it was good. Now, as far as Team Filthy, I know Tom Lawler, of course, and J.R. Kratos and Danny Lamlight. Lamlight had him in my show a couple of times. The other guy, Jerome Nelson and Royce Isaac, I think I only seen them wrestle one time, but they impressed me as far as the wrestling skills. This match was pretty good. I think this match was mostly to let everybody know, look, Leo Rush is going to challenge Tom Lawler for the openweight title. The fact that we see Leo Rush back after what? It was like 2 or 3 months ago he decided he's going to retire. I mean, I got to give him credit. That shows you the love he has for the sport.
By the way, Leo Rush is just so good. Like, you can just tell he was not just in WWE, but just like underappreciated there. But like, man, his timing and just like some of his moves, it's rare that Leo Rush is not entertaining to me. When you brought up your more, this is the one thing that gets me, and this is what, again, this seems like 2 times in a row now I'm talking about physiques, but pre-pandemic he was you're more young lion that I did not know much about, but I seen him every now and then. He blended in. Post-pandemic, or maybe it was the G1, or whenever he popped back up, he just popped up out of nowhere looking like Ricky Steamboat in the physique.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
me. And I was just like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a freaking star in a few years. Like when they dye his hair or give him whatever gimmick it is that's coming, oh my goodness, he's gonna kill it in Japan. Because when you grow like that, it just shows the work ethic. When you're a young lion, they control your diet, they control how you work out and all that type of stuff. So, for him to be putting in whatever genetics or whatever extra work that he put in to, build himself up this way, man, he just already looked like a star in the making. I agree, though. The overall point of this match was definitely to show you that, or show everyone that Leo Rush is a threat to Tom Lawler's belt and Team Filthy. In general, it was nice to see all those guys together. By the way, I love what Kratos was doing. I love the West Coast crew. Team Filthy is pretty cool, and I love what Tom Lawler's been doing overall. So this is all good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Tom that I liked was no wasted motion. The great respect after, where everyone, putting on a great show. I would just say we are 2 hours away from SummerSlam now, and if you just tuned in, you wondered what we're doing. We're just catching up on the action from last weekend. Of course, we've still got a lot more coming on. Next match, though. Juice Robinson defeating Hikuleo. Juice fought out the Samoan driver to roll him up for the win out of nowhere. And after the match, Hikuleo attacked Juice and flattered him with the choke slam. But I think Juice has that special something. And Kozlov had never seen a high five before, because as Juice has offered it, as he's sitting on commentary, he's going, "What is this hand? Don't know." So, what did you guys think of the match?
You want to go first, Monty, or you want me to take it?
You got it.
Okay. The Hikuleo match, I mean, it's understandable that they're trying to create this monster not known as the Young Gun of the Bullet Club. Even though he lost, that tells you that feud is not over, because he chokeslammed them afterwards. I think Juice Robinson has improved so much compared to when I first saw Juice Robinson with his little tie-dye pants and dancing on the ring. Every time I looked at him, this guy's a joke. But he has improved so much, as far as a singles wrestler. I mean, the fact that he was the IWGP United States champion not once but twice shows you what, his progression in the last 4 or 5 years. Hikuleo, I mean, he's under the tutelage of his father and his brothers. So, I mean, I think he's doing the right thing. I think they need to make him of a bigger heel monster, because, this guy's like 7 feet and he's getting pinned. That's the only problem I have with that. And he lost to Lance Archer not long ago too. So, I think he needs a little bit of more improvement, instead of relying only on, his powers, chokeslam and stuff like that. I think he needs to work on his ring skills as far as like arm bars and stuff like that. But, in a couple of years, like I said, who the hell where you see him? And he's under a great tutelage, his father and his brothers. So we'll say this match was pretty good. I mean, and again, I think the storyline of that is a young gun trying to make a name himself. He took Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson took him to the limit, pinned him, but this feud is not over.
No way it's not over. And I want to your point about Juice Robinson and his improvement. Not only his improvement, based on, like you said, the character work and the dancing and all that. Juice Robinson is really good at invoking, or at least using his energy and his emotion to invoke emotions from crowds. Whether it's in Japan, whether it's in this particular case, he's really good in this babyface role. I love his promos when you just let him talk, because he's very entertaining in that regard too. But Juice Robinson is like you said, it's nice to see him go from a guy that you saw trying to build his profile and get put over to now he's in a position where he's good enough or in the state to where they trust him to put guys like Hikuleo over. And as far as Hikuleo goes, he's obviously still learning, obviously still building more to his repertoire. He's improving. Like you said, he definitely needs need a little bit more seasoning, in my opinion. He should be more of a monster. I feel like the only thing, as much as I think he needs to find a balance between how cool the Gorillas of Destiny are, but he got the cool factor because he got the look and all that. But for someone as big as him, for some reason, he does not seem at like the same threat that the Gorillas of Destiny are. So he needs more of an edge, in my opinion, too. He's cool and he looks great, but he needs an edge. And like you said, I think that'll come with time. So the future is bright for a guy like Leo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the only problem that New Japan they do. They make these guys, you got to earn your spot. That's the way New Japan plays. You earn your spot, and then you get those big Wrestle Kingdom matches and the main event and all that stuff.
Well, next match, Tomohiro Ishii defeating Moose. This match was fantastic. It's been the best performance of Moose's career. He tried to power Moose up for the vertical drop, brainbuster, knuckle tries for the win. I love the fact Ishii getting smaller in the match the more Moose hit him as well. Monty, what did you think of this?
I thought this was top-notch stuff. I almost take Ishii for granted at this point because he's just so goddamn fun to watch, tough. Like you mentioned strong style earlier. Who defines strong style better than Ishii? I don't know. Maybe a guy like Shingo, maybe a couple people around. Definitely throughout history is others. But man, Ishii is one of the best, and just he's so captivating. And for some reason, as someone who is badass as Ishii, he's always easy to root for. Like in the opposite way that most baby faces are. If you see what I'm saying, like he is legit intimidating, even though he is not the biggest. But it's because of the way he wrestles, what he's willing to do, how tough he is. I'll never forget what he did with Kenny Omega a few years ago. The classic, every time they touched, it was a classic. Kenny Omega and Ishii. So seeing him in the ring with Moose, and I don't see how you come from this match and not just see what Moose was doing and just be like, this is unbelievable. He's just like, he's springboarding around. Every time Ishii, got on the run, he was there to be he was there to reverse something. He's one step ahead for most of the match. They also did a really good job, in my opinion, of pacing it for two, heavyweights. This is a well-paced match. I enjoyed this. This is, if you're going in the order of the card, this match is when I was like, okay, now we're getting into it. This is New Japan. This is a New Japan show.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I saw Ishii wrestle Moose, the first person that came into my mind was James, because we've been talking about how Impact is not utilizing Moose to his potential after he signed a 2-year deal. This match was good because it has a history, and these guys in the past, I think it was 2014 when Ishii had beat Roderick Strong for the Ring of Honor TV title. Moose had wrestled Ishii, but Moose was just green at that time, and Ishii, kind of dominated the match with this hard hitting, that hard style, whatever. But this match was ridiculous. I mean, and you got to give it to Ishii because the guy's probably, 5'11". He's going in there with a guy who's almost 6'9", almost 7 foot, and he was not backing off. He was not backing off.
Nope.
And Moose hit him
early
with
40s too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Early 40s.
He hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, and Ishii kept coming back. So they not only did they top their 2014 match, but this was one of the best matches in the card and whatnot. And the only thing I was a little disappointed was that Moose lost again. He's been on a losing streak lately, but I know did not come from Impact. This probably was New Japan stuff. So, they were going to put over their boy regardless. But this match was one of the top matches of the night. That's what, like you said, Monty, when that match ended, that's where you could see the turn of the whole card turning to now, okay, this match, let me see what's going to follow it and beat that. And the rest of the card was pretty good.
Well, it reminded me a bit of Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome back in the day. Just two big guys beating the shit out of each other. You just want more and more. Up next, Will Ospreay made his surprise appearance, grabbing the mic, saying that he's worked his ass off and broke his neck for New Japan, and they've stripped him of the championship as well. He called Shingo Takagi a pussy, and then he said he will focus on New Japan Strong because they need a big star right now. Ospreay is a personal favourite. This felt good and felt like a main event story. I mean, one thing you could argue maybe was Strong, and other things when Japan comes to like America is they haven't got the top tier talent. It's like, and I think with Ospreay here, that's them saying this is our base and this is what we're going to grow from.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing the confusing part is, so now you're going to have Will Ospreay running around with the IWGP belt in Japan Strong, right? But then Shingo Takagi is the original champion. But now Ospreay's calling him the interim. So that kind of like lowers the value of Tom Lawler's belt, because his title is supposed to be the title that represents New Japan Strong. Now you're going to bring in now the IWGP belt, well, whatever version of that belt is for Ospreay. The only thing is that I don't like is that. But other than Ospreay being there, making it more interesting, because during that whole promo that he did, you saw the young guys like Clark Connell, TJP, all these guys come out. So he's probably going to wrestle them and give himself more time. So I guess to him and Shingo gets that one-on-one to be the undisputed. But that part, no, I'm not too Japan doing anything with the belt into that strong. I don't know if you disagree with me on that, Monty, but that's the way I'm looking at it.
I agree as far as the show. It is one of those kind of said. You have the strong and weight belt. So it's an open weight, so that means anyone from any weight class could have challenged for it. It seemed like it was a good belt to just have as Strong's belt. And then when you add this, now it's like you're right. Like, what is the point of this? What is this even? The belt itself. Now Will Ospreay, of course, you can always use come out like Will Ospreay on your card. So I'm never hating on that. And he's justified because he made such a great point. Moxley had that belt had the U.S. title forever, and they didn't strip him.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
and they found a way to strip Ospreay. So I can understand that explanation, but yeah, I don't know where they're heading with this though.
Yeah, and the thing is that they're gonna make that now. Again, like I said, now the damn open weight belt's like the Intercontinental belt now. You know what I'm saying? Secondary.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it feels like already.
Yeah, it doesn't make no sense if you're trying to expand your promotion into the United States by bringing Oscar with a fake belt or whatever you want to call it into New Japan Strong, because now you want to put Ospreay to wrestle these young guys, and honestly try to put these young guys over, win or lose. But being the belt, that now Tom Lawler's belt is a secondary. So
right, just a second, because I think we'll be joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scar. Hello, we hear you.
I'm to the Japan because title changes happen, so I've been enjoying listening.
But what we'll do, we're putting in a second. Obviously, welcome Jaxie. Of course, Mark and on one with at the moment. So
hey, Jaxie, how you doing? Hello.
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm sorry for joining you guys today. I've been out having dinner in central London. Back.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed your meal.
I did, thank you. I had Vietnamese. It was great.
Oh, that sounds good.
Right. Yep.
I'm going up to
I don't know how much I've missed on this conversation, but can we get on the CM Punk vibe?
Well, this is why we decided to go with. We are going to come back around now and say was Jack Jones
good.
CM Punk. What did you CM Punk is all elite.
So I definitely was screaming at 3 a.m. in the morning and woke my neighbors up for sure. Hearing opening Rampage just pretty much expected. You don't take fast. Everyone was already screaming his name as soon as they started music just hit. I goosebumps. It was amazing.
It was incredible. The whole thing. And
Cool Darby Allin and just seeing how cool Darby Allin and Sting looked just at the top. It was just incredible. I'm excited.
Darby couldn't hold his smile. That somebody up that he had a big smile on his face. You never see Darby smile. So that was amazing. That was amazing.
Talk about smiling. If you see the Punk Media Scrum on YouTube, Tony's face, you talk about cheating smile. It's like 8 Christmases has come as he's sitting.
Cat got cream for sure.
This is like I said. This is real big for wrestling. I mentioned that earlier. Right on. This is, listen, if you're not into this professional wrestling thing, you need to turn off the TV, don't come back to Twitter, and go away.
Yeah. Definitely. And I was out having dinner with friends tonight, and how people up CM Punk's name, they knew that's big business, He's everywhere. So just to, hear his name, you don't have to be even a fan of wrestling who CM Punk know what he's done for the industry. So I'm totally excited, and to see him coming out Darby for All Out, I'm totally on that. Give that to me 100%.
Take my money.
Yeah,
definitely.
One out CM Punk t-shirt, and I went online and it's sold out already. I cannot even get it.
The website crashed last night, and then it was still crashing.
I think that CM Punk t-shirt is going to be a bestseller for a while.
I'm getting one.
I think we're all going to get one. One person nappy. One person went out to see him. He said, "That's
I want to go."
We're going to go.
Really?
He said that. when it comes
something
down
happen
to it,
on SmackDown? Because I'll tell you this now, I haven't had a chance to watch SmackDown. I watched AEW go out this morning, so I've only just come home, so I've only seen AEW. What
well,
happened on SmackDown?
but
Update me.
we'll go SmackDown later. This is just what Roman said last about CM Punk. CM Punk,
This wasn't on SmackDown.
no, it was John. What good was over and moved the needle at the Rock. He said, I think that needs to be done to stay in this position. Opportunity to be in the main event. SummerSlam against John Cena. Ratings on YouTube. SmackDown the SmackDown occasion on SmackDown about 1 right now. The rampage for Punk are 2.5 million at this moment in time. Punk moving.
It's funny because you're mentioning about that needle thing. See, everything else he said about about The Rock, being over, then CM Punk. Of course, when CM came to the he was already a legend. It's like he was already getting pushed with the loyalty, respect, whatever. So he was getting over. CM Punk had people forget that. So this is just my that pipe bomb he did on 24th at all. The beginning of everything seen today. That pipe bomb. To me, since that day that he did that pipe bomb, really has sense. That's all. I'll go on my Rampage show. Got a lot of things to say about that. But go ahead.
No, but I have to agree with you on that because I've been a fan of wrestling for a while, and if you've listened to any of my previous podcasts with James, I've talked about how I was young, the Attitude Era. My father got me into it, and I really just into sort of tag team wrestling then, and it kind of died out for me. And I got back in because of all the punking some truth, and what that was. That wasn't really pulled me in. Like they're talking real talk now, Imagine when I type it and CM Punk isn't allowed to say as much as he said back then.
Yeah, I mean he on the mic took a shot at me right away. He just didn't mention it, but he shot at him. And I mean, people for that, and that's the wrestling fans today. They don't remember that. If CM Punk would have done that, I think Ring would be the one. Would have New Japan probably still there.
Big shout out to his wife, who is one of my favorite female wrestlers, AJ. I hope that we will somehow officially possibly see her come back to wrestling. I know it's but I want to give a shout out to her because AJ Lee really did stick it to us about her.
She did like bomb. I remember when she said, all you girls want to be on TV doing something diva. I'm here to wrestle, and after that, I think WWE decided, okay, you're getting too out of hand. Your husband's getting out. Let's take the belt away from you, and that was the end of that.
But I stand them as a couple, and I hope to see her back. I think that I've read her book, and I think that she's quite an inspirational person, outside of wrestling when it comes to mental health. She's a very strong advocate for mental health, and I've got a lot of respect for the girl. So if she wants to come back to wrestling, I think a lot of wrestling fans will welcome her with open arms.
Yeah, I think without
guys,
doubt.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Today, a weird connection as well between CM Punk and Samoa Joe, because obviously they knew each other so well in Ring of Honor. 2005, both had a decision to make. Samoa Joe joined TNA Wrestling, it's called CM Punk, signed for WWE. In 2014, Punk, of course, left WWE in January in a Rumble match. May 2015, Joe signed for NXT. His last match was February 10th, 2020, when he teamed up with Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders to face Seth Rollins, Murphy, and AOP. And then their first appearances back, Punk's first appearance back, August 20th, 2021. Joe's first back, August 21st, 2021. So since kind of 2005, they kind of both go along the same way. It's interesting, I think, to bring it upon on.
That's very interesting looking at those stats.
It is, and of course, we talk about it as well, Samoa Joe. So, of course, Monty usually join me for NXT TakeOver, NXT updates, and you're really excited for this card, aren't you?
Yep. I think, honestly, this weekend, besides what happened at the beginning of Rampage last night, I don't know if I was hyper for anything else. It's certain things that's going to happen tonight that I'm interested in seeing play out. Like Edge and Rollins, and other things that I could name. We'll talk about it later. But NXT, the entire card, like we mentioned in our update, literally the only match we're really excited about is going to be a 2 out of 3 falls class like. So I mean, you can't lose, right?
I'm looking forward to that.
just not as much as the rest of the card. Like, I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to it. Like, the match will be great, but it's just like as far as storage, it's probably the weakest built one out of the rest of them. That's about it.
Well, I'll run through the card quickly.
I agree with you in that sense. Yeah, go for it.
Well, we've got the $1 Million Championship. LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. The NXT UK Championship, Volta versus Adriana. 2 out of 3 falls match, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. NXT Women's Championship match, Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai. And of course, the NXT title, Karrion Kross versus Sumeerslam. Out of those matches, what are you looking forward to the most, Jaxie?
I mean, I'm not sure. Again, I'm just coming into this, so I'm not sure whether or not this is a popular choice or not. But I mean, I really am looking forward to the Cameron Grimes and LA Knight match. I was one of those people that really just wasn't feeling Cameron Grimes as a wrestler. His character, I thought he was very annoying. I just was never interested in him. But this whole storyline between him, Ted DiBiase, and House of Wonders, I just think it's made his character grow into something that all love to see. I was discussing with some of the members of the OK team. I'm really excited to see yesterday, and I was saying, nice to see that he's kind of a face right now, but I also don't see it staying that way. So yeah, that's the match I'm looking forward to.
Well,
I think.
I've got that is probably the match we're looking forward to the most as well. Just how much we love the storyline.
Yay!
Yeah, I was just about to say, you literally picked the match we've been hyping up the most, probably.
Oh, awesome! I'm so glad. I was like, oh gosh, they've all gone quiet. Have I said the worst match that they all cannot? I think this match is just everyone's invested in it now. I mean, I don't even know which way I want it to go, because on one side, I really would love to see Ted DiBiase be LA Knight's butler. I mean, that would be freaking amazing. And I think that they could actually just go really all out with that storyline. But on the other hand, I want to see Cameron Grimes win that title, and I want to see him go back to being the regular asshole he is once he gets the title, because we all forget this feud between them started because they both were assholes to each other, and Ted DiBiase was like, well, one of you two deserve the title, you know? So it's kind of an asshole face belt, heel belt. So I don't think it would be right to have like a face holding it. So if Cameron Grimes does win, I do want him to go back to just being the irritating asshole that he was before.
Without doubt, like I said, it's been really interesting with NXT at the moment with all the kind of changes we've tomorrow night. Me and Monty will bring you, or Monty and I will bring you NXT update just before Takeover, getting up to date with it. I've got to say the match, and it would be remiss if I didn't. Ilya Dragunov versus Volta. A lot of people on Monday are going to be saying this is a match that they were looking for the show, but I'm going to say it before it actually happens, that this will take the weekend. Since, last October, the first match happened, this second match is going to steal the show.
I mean, I have to ask with, I don't know, I've not heard much when it comes to discussing NXT with you guys. So for both of yourselves, what is it that you do know about Dragunov and Walter? Do you know much about them? What's your excitement level?
Well, I saw Dragunov and Walter, I believe, was 2 years ago they went at it, and I mean it was a good match. But Walter to me is like he's the monster of NXT. This guy, nobody could beat him. But the Dragunov and Walter match was pretty good. I mean, it was Walter,
it was the most brutal match possibly of all time. What made it even worse, BT Sports Studios was empty. You heard the smack and bang and crack of this. the Volta is Thanos, and he will be happy.
Exactly.
And you're right. He is the Thanos.
Ilya Dragunov has become a guy for so long.
Yeah.
He sees Volta. He needs to beat him, but Walter's got. It's going to be a match.
You know what?
Unbelievable.
This is the one thing that annoys me about sort of the whole situation with Walter being connected to WWE is that, as you just said, he really is the Thanos of NXT, and then they have him sort of, get his big feature in the Survivor Series, just to be squashed. And it still pains me to this day how quick he was eliminated in that match. Never even got a chance to show what he really can do. So this is what worries me if he decides to, if they decide to push it onto the roster.
But the reason it did that was because I believe WWE wanted him to come to the United States and be part of the NXT brand here, and he told them no. I'm not in the United States. I'm staying in the UK. What WWE's petty. So what do? They put him in a Survivor Series match and made him look weak, and that's why he stays in the UK. That guy should be nowhere near WWE.
Yeah, okay. Well, do you know what? Thank you very much for actually informing me of that. I never knew that he actually had refused and didn't want to come to the US. So that makes a lot of sense because we all know how petty Vince is.
Yeah. So and even before he was part of NXT UK, Walter was dominating the UK scene for years. This guy's a monster, and I mean to me, as far as world champions, and I consider him NXT UK world champion because I think this guy 900 something days with that belt, nobody can beat him, and he's the most dominant champion besides Nick Aldis and maybe Omega right now. He's the most dominant champion right now in my eyes.
I mean, when you look at it like that, I kind of want him to reach that 1,000-day marker.
You probably.
The thing is apart from when it was first debate, it's only changed hands in America at a takeover. With, of course, takeover Chicago with Dunn beating Bate, and then with takeover a few years back with Walter beating Dunn. So if there's ever a chance going to happen, takeover 36, and this is a match to kind of look out for as well. It's going to be incredible. I was thinking now we can play a game if everybody's interested. What's that train goes by in the background?
What kind of games you talking about, buddy?
Well, the game is literally very simple. It's called Yay or Nay, and I just want to get you guys' response to it because since January this year, 54 WWE wrestlers have been released, and I want to run through the list and just want to get your opinion because it's all well and good saying no, they got rid of main event talent, but out of the 54, how many would we actually use?
Okay, go ahead.
What do you mean when you say how many we would actually use?
Well, just yay or nay. Should they have kept them or should they be right to release?
Oh, okay. Should the company? Okay, yeah. I get you.
Read first person to be released. Lars Sullivan. Is that?
Nay.
Nay. If anything, I probably commend the WWE a lot more for doing that.
He's a creepo.
That's been happened like a long time ago.
Nice and simple. Right. The Big Show.
Nah, they shouldn't have kept him because he done everything. He surpassed the ceiling here in WWE. They just had him there, and they were going to use him probably as an ambassador to do whatever they usually do when they don't want to use the talent. So, he's better off where he's at right now.
He really would have just been that person that they brought back for the Saudi shows where the Saudis like to see a lot more of the older school wrestlers.
Sure, because the Saudis for promotional. The Saudis think Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, is still alive. So.
Yeah. I mean, he'd just get used for his height, but it wouldn't be of any benefit to him whatsoever. So, nay.
Yeah, I say nay mostly. Like they mentioned, WWE have no clue what to do with people who are not in us, on their wavelength. If they nothing for you, they really mean they got nothing for you. So they're not like AEW who have found a way to use older talent.
Yeah, they have. I agree, and it's that thing where he was on the roster for a very long time, and he did nothing, and people would sometimes forget, is he still signed with WWE? You know,
I thought he'd retired long. I thought he'd retired officially, like gone.
Same here.
Done.
I actually thought he had retired. To be honest.
How many times he turned babyface and heel?
47 in the last 4 years.
Infinity.
That was, yeah.
47.
Infinite.
Yeah. Right, up next, yay or nay? Yay, he should stay, nay. Steve Cutler.
Nay.
Nay.
Poor Steve Cutler. Sitting at home listening to this.
Nay.
It's
Well,
you know what? It's for me on behalf of me. I don't find that it's like a nay because he was bad or anything like that, but nay because he wasn't getting used, so he was never going to get utilized, and none of his talent was ever going to be appreciated. So I think they probably did him a favor by letting him go and giving him more options.
He said. Remember, he was part of the Forgotten Son, so I totally forgot about him.
Well,
Yeah, I think so. I really did too. I kind of forgot that. Yeah, he was part of them.
he has a former partner who should be on the list with him.
I know.
Oh,
he
yeah,
really,
yes.
yeah. I mean, the
Yes.
fact that partner is now on the main roster just makes me want to slap Vince in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised they kept him. I'm like, I know he's kissing ass behind the scenes, but we'll leave that alone.
well, next one, Andrade. I think this is pretty.
Oh, come on now.
Come on now, boy. But we just finished talking about really.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how much of this doing was Ric Flair's and Charlotte Flair's, but on Andrade, the fans were feeling it. Andrade was feeling it. Everyone could see he wasn't happy in that company. It made so much sense for WWE to just finally just give in and just give him his release. I think he has got a lot of potential where he is now. I think that if it wasn't for WWE being big and just actually accepting that he does want to go, then he could have potentially gotten forgotten about in WWE and just kind of been a jobber.
I think that'd be right.
Yeah, main roster run makes me sad right now.
Yeah.
Like his main roster run just makes me sad.
So, especially because I really loved him and Zelina Vega as a team up.
I was glad when he left, to be honest. I'm glad that he left because I felt they were not. This is a guy who I follow in Mexico as La Sombra, and they were not using to his potential. It's like his NXT run was the ceiling as high as he could. After that, there ain't nothing went. And I'm like, another talent being wasted, and they're not going to do anything to keep pushing the same characters as they have.
Yeah.
Right, next one, Iconics, which obviously...
Really, dude? Really?
I'm just saying,
Really?
yay or nay? Just a quick one then. Just yay?
No.
Yay!
Hey, bye-bye.
Yay!
See ya.
They need bodies. I'm saying yay because they need bodies. They literally have released most of the women that you can even think of. They need bodies, especially in their tag division. Oh my goodness!
I think this was the stupidest decision WWE made because no offense, even I wasn't like the hugest fan of the Iconics because of that they're those irritating type of characters. They want you to get for them to get on your nerves, you know. But the minute they left, you just actually realized there are no legit female tag teams in when you just announced these tag team titles. And then the only decent run that I have actually seen with those female tag team titles are the Iconics.
Yeah.
They are the only ones who actually made those titles actually feel like legit titles. You know, and that's no offense to Bayley and Sasha Banks. They did a great job carrying last year. They did a great job carrying the titles as well. But they didn't have the same sort of effect. We all knew and were waiting on one of them to turn on one another, you know? With the Iconics, they are your duo that were going to help solidify female tag team wrestling. And they let them go. The stupidest thing they could have done.
Well, I would disagree. The stupidest thing they did for a Joe on April 3 hiring shortly.
That was like.
I was to say, they realized that.
They were like,
they were
my beer.
They were scared because they were scared he was going to show Impact at his anniversary. Knew Impact was going to go. Now he could go anywhere because of Forbidden Door.
Especially considering the fact how close a friendship Impact and AEW have. the biggest worry was him actually eventually ending up in AEW, which
Nope.
we all know Joe would have shone.
Yeah.
Would have shone so much doing AEW.
Okay, next one
Yeah.
then. What about Kalisto?
Yeah. That's a little brother. I don't know. He never, even when he was part of the Lucha House Party, which was the worst trio tag team I ever seen as far as name, talent.
Yeah.
But Kalisto, I think what they were trying to do was the next Rey Mysterio, because I think Mysterio had left for a while and he was wrestling in Japan. So this was a way of when Kalisto is the next Rey Mysterio. But no, I don't care. I don't care what happened to him.
In the ring, yay, because I remember it was a special moment that he had in the ring at times when he was used. I think you say that about the whole Lucha House Party, as far as like when you let them wrestle and just stop goofying them up or whatever. I think they all
that's true.
were individual. Because Grand Metalik in New Japan, he was Mask Dorado, I think, or whatever, Mascara Dorado, I believe.
Yeah.
He was absolutely great in New Japan if you let him do his thing. So I think at least let him do his thing.
Elimination Chamber, because those two had real great spots when they were fighting in the Elimination Chamber that really just made you think. You know that moment in is it Endgame or is it no? I think Infinity. You know when she's like, "Why was she up there?" It's like that. It's that type of watch in that Elimination Chamber match. You're like, "What have you been sitting on these guys?"
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like they tease you.
Yeah.
They tease you. They're like, oh, okay, we got these guys. Yeah, they lose matches, whatever. And then when they say, oh, let's tease the fans and show them how great this tag team, and they let them showcase their wrestling skill. But then they go right back to that WWE wrestling, and it becomes boring.
I will say though, Kalisto with bumps ever with Jimmy Uso in TLC as well. To lead us off the ladder is definitely worth checking out. Again, I know I'm going to get a reaction from this. Mickey James.
I think no, they should have not kept.
I think
she has too much talent. The girl can still wrestle.
I agree.
Yeah, she deserves to be there.
I think that she was like another one of those wrestlers, kind of like Big Show. Her talent was being very underutilized, and she could be doing so much more than what she was. She was in more a supporting role in every other female feud. It was never sort of about her. And you got to remember, she gave us one of the best feuds that made Trish Stratus one of the biggest female wrestlers she is today. She wouldn't have gotten there without the help of Mickey James. And a lot of people tend to forget that, but Mickey is one talented woman, and she still can wrestle. Yeah, she just needs to go somewhere to be appreciated.
And people forget that Mickey James had a fantastic. I think it was the first ever women's cage match in Impact Wrestling when she was feuding with Victoria. They had a great match that I don't think to this day there's not been any other stage match like that in wrestling. So Mickey James, even to now, she still has it.
She's a living legend, bro. Living legend.
I haven't seen that match. I'm gonna have to go and watch it.
All right, next one, Chelsea Green.
They should have not kept.
Okay, Noah's not kept and Yaya should have kept. Yeah.
No, they should have not kept. First of all, Chelsea, remember it was a Royal Rumble. I believe it was 2 years ago in Houston. She came out, and you figured she was gonna be utilized in the match. I think she only lasted about 2 minutes, and she got kicked out. So I'm like, what's the point? This Chelsea Green girl is someone from NXT that is supposed to be a big name. How are you going to make her come and join the Rumble and get them in 2 minutes? This is why I'm saying, like, a lot of these female wrestlers right now, and I didn't even know that Chelsea Green was a knockout champion until, they mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. But this is what WWE does. They think, oh, these guys are NXT, they're, I call it supposedly, developmental talent, according to them. They named out of WWE. Did that, I'm like, you're not this girl who could be big, lead the line, but now bring up the smack, she breaks the wrist, and that was the end of it. So she's know what she's in. She broke her wrist in a match between I think it was a mixed tag at anniversary, but she's better off where she's at right now. She could travel anywhere. She could go whatever she wants.
Broke her wrist again?
Yeah, she broke her wrist again when she went. She
went
and did she did the Canadian Destroyer on Brian Myers. and she
As you
landed
do.
wrong. And, yeah. So but she's still. I mean, I think she's wrestling in the NWA Power. So she's still wrestling. She don't care.
Okay.
That girl's tough.
Right, we're gonna get quick
Oh,
fire.
yeah. And
I want.
injury is a great point, by
If
the
she can
way.
keep surviving, go for it.
Right, everybody's attention. Or nays. We're gonna do quick ones, quick fire, because we've got 40 to get. I'm slowly running out of time. Up next, Tucker. Yay or nay?
Yay!
Right.
Should have never set up the Heavy Junior race. Should have kept him.
Right, perfect. Right, up next.
Oh.
Bo Dallas.
No.
Oh, yay! I'm biased. Yay!
Yay! Yeah.
Why, Monty?
Oh, I'm just a mark for I'm a mark for his undefeated streak that should have went forever. That's all. When he was on the main roster, I'm a mark, and his original NXT run. Yeah, I'm a mark. That's all. Just a mark.
Right, next one. Mojo Raw. He deserves to be released. I've got personal issues with him. Next up, Wesley Blake.
Me too. Raleigh should never been a wrestler.
Never ever. Wesley Blake. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Nay. Wait, I'm still wanting to know what your personal issues with Mojo Rawley is. I'm just intrigued. I want to know.
Me and him have got beef going back, man. I'm not gonna. We got issues.
Right, we're gonna we'll dig deeper into this into another episode. Don't worry, to find out what.
I honestly thought 3 hours would be enough time for all of us, and it obviously isn't. So we'll need to do this.
Okay, this is a conversation for another episode. We will get there in the end.
Right.
I'll tell Milton Raleigh to send you a football. So.
He won't. He won't. Not after what happened. Anyway.
I gotta find out what happened. So that's an episode with me too.
Yeah. I think you need us both up back on that chapter.
Hey, you open the bottle, buddy. You open the Pandora's box. So you might as well just say why.
Look, legally, I can't say at this moment in time, but once it's all resolved, hopefully we can talk about it.
Legally.
Oh my God!
I swear.
Legally, there's fucking lawyers involved. He said legally.
This again.
I'm not gonna ask you now. It's legally.
Look, my hands are tied. Right. Up next, Kavita Devi. Yay or nay?
What?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
That's a nay.
Nay, 'cause I
Right,
don't know
she's
who
gone. Gone.
I'm so sorry. Just
Yay if she went Shayna.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, potential. Sorry, let me just say this real quick. I'll make it real quick. They should have kept going with the storyline feud where Nia Jax was taking out all of Shayna's friends with Marina and Jasmine. Those two come up to the roster. They have this big, massive feud where Shayna and Nia really sit down. Nia still teaming with the likes of Tamina and even getting Talia in there to have like this little three-way fight. Jasmine and Marina both could have been really big by now if they were stuck with Shayna on the main roster. But no, they split all up. So yay, they should have kept her.
Right, I'm going to skip 3 developments. With Alexander Wolf next. Yay or nay?
Nay.
Unfortunately.
This is going to be good. Velveteen Dream.
Nay.
Nay.
Legally speaking, nay.
Legally,
Monty's hands are tied, so he can't.
legally, he should be arrested.
I agree 100%.
What about Braun Strowman?
Yay. He was made for them, man. He was made for that company. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
Well, they let him go because of the contract situation. He was getting paid too much, so I'm surprised they haven't really brought him back for less money. But Braun Strowman, he was just a gimmick type of wrestler, and I think they messed him up big time when he started feuding with Brock Lesnar. He should have beaten Brock Lesnar the first time they met.
Definitely.
But once they did that, and I think what messed him up was he forgot a promo, forgot the words or whatever, and then right after that they punished him. Then they made him team with the little kid for the World Tag Team title, which was an embarrassment. And then from there they didn't care for him. They tried to push him, but his momentum was already he killed. Because if you think about it, he feuded with Roman Reigns for so long, and most of the match he dominated Roman Reigns. And this is the match who they were pushing as the babyface. But once he forgot those lines in his promo, that was it. He was done.
Right, on the assumption that Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, and Ruby Riott should all still be at this point.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah.
That's fair. What about
His name is
Breezango?
Buddy Murphy's not no longer named Buddy Murphy. His name is Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, which are going to confuse me.
Buddy Matthews. Get it right. It's legally.
Legally. My hands are tied.
Matthews is such a better last name.
Fandango and Tyler Breeze been released.
No, they should say yay, yay, yay all the way. I love them.
Yeah. I mean,
especially in NXT.
I say no because the simple fact that even in NXT, they became NXT Tag Team Champion and they still weren't appreciated. These were not guys that couldn't wrestle. They could wrestle, but even then, they were treating him like crap. So I mean, they're better off somewhere else.
Right,
really
Tyler Breeze main roster run also makes me sad.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
If he was a couple of inches taller, then he'd be this Michaels. This
that is true.
Was 5'7". They've given him.
The minute he came to the main roster, McMahon was already, I don't like him. He's not good shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, Cruiser as it is to our division. Tony Nese, Avira Davari, August Gray, the Bollywood Boys with Kurt Stallion.
You not with Nese.
Nese was the man. They should have kept him. They didn't know how to use him.
He had so much potential.
Yeah. The other guys, the Bollywood, whatever boys, nah. They should have never. They should have released those, but they weren't doing nothing. I mean, and Davari was there for a long time. The guy, he's been there since the classic, when he first showed up, when I first saw him in 2016. But it's the same thing with Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander, they where is he? Is he still with WWE? They haven't released him.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he is. He's just not.
He's at catering, like MVP.
He's hoping for the Hurt Business back.
I'm itching for him to just go over to AEW, join his woman's swole over in AEW, and then have both him and Swole join Team Taz and have like a badass team just brewing. Will Hall
get chopped off.
Cedric Alexander Swole. Seriously, do it.
Right, Swole. I haven't seen Swole in a long time. Is she still with us? I don't know. She's still with AEW.
Did you not? Did you know she was
She's also still alive.
She's still with us.
She's been having
okay, class. I haven't seen that woman since she lost that.
She's got Crohn's disease, so she had some issues with that again. So that's why she's been off. But she did turn up on, I think it was either Elevation or Dark this week. She turned up to make the save. I think Julia Hart was getting beaten up by someone.
Poor Julia Hart.
Yeah, bless her.
Beat up every other week with girls.
She really does. She really does. Hopefully, this will just make her stronger, though. But yeah, Swole did return this week, so I don't know whether or not that means that she'll be returning sort of to main roster like Dynamite and stuff soon. But I know that just because I follow her on Instagram, she had been suffering really badly with Crohn's in the past few months.
Okay.
Well, that's a way to bring us down, but
sorry, I was just letting you know that. I didn't want you guys thinking she wasn't being used or by Tony Khan or anything. I just wanted to let you know.
Marina Shafir, Shusha been released, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Also, yay with Shayna.
Yeah, Same as what we said before with Justin.
Killian Dane.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
How they
He
screw
should
that up?
say yes. Mhm.
Also, guys as well. Who, once they believe Kin, it's not going to work out. Boy, must they be happy.
2.0.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I
They
say.
loving it now.
2.0.
Last night. They ended Rampage last night, and they were working with the likes of Sting and John Moxley and Darby Allin. I literally don't think they can complain. So this was the best thing
At
WWE
all.
ever done for them, ever. By letting them go, they did the best thing ever for them.
It's amazing.
Ever-Rise,
How, it's amazing that Ever-Rising got let go. Within the week, Tony Khan was like, WWE stupid, let's sign him.
It's
Gotta love Tony Khan.
right. 2 more left. The penultimate one, Ric Flair. Should he have been released or not?
Nate, he's having fun. Nate.
Hey.
The nature boy, huh?
He's not needed. First of all, let Charlotte Flair do her thing. She's got the name. She's had him at her side. You don't actually need him. He wasn't really doing anything in WWE, so let him to be retired already. And
I mean, but he was looking out for his daughter because he felt like the storyline wasn't to his liking, so that's the reason he has to be released. But
I totally get that, but I also know that Charlotte could definitely run her own mouth. She don't need Ric Flair to actually be there.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he did that because he knows he's gonna show up at the NWA 73 next weekend. He ain't stupid. He knows he's gonna make his little money. You know what I'm saying? You see what he did in Triple Mania. So you know, he got in there. He chopped it up with Kenny Omega. That was a cool spot.
that was cool.
Last one on the list, and I know he shouldn't have been. Bray Wyatt.
Oh hell no! That should have kept him. That is the biggest fumble that WWE has ever done. Because this guy
He's also made for them.
Yeah, I call it. He could have been the next Undertaker. He could have taken it to that level. But again, McMahon don't want no one who's under his company become bigger than the company. Those days are over. He doesn't want none of that. So he's gonna be, and I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Here's my fantasy booking, and I told this to James. That I see it right now by Full Gear in November. Hangman Page is gonna win the belt. He's gonna try to be part of the Dark Order, and they're gonna turn on him. And Bray Wyatt is gonna be the new leader.
Oh, don't shut up! Stop getting me excited.
Yes. Because think about it.
Take my goddamn money. Please have Bray Wyatt take over from Brody Lee. Please.
Think about it. It may happen a month before the 1-year anniversary of Brody Lee's death. And I think it's December 26th is the date that makes 1 year already. Bray Wyatt is a perfect guy to run. And I mean, I go as far as to say maybe Braun Strowman be part of that also. As part of the...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I can even see, with the way that Bray's most recent character of the Fiend has been, not like the actual Fiend himself, but the split personality side of him. You could really see him playing to sort of be the leader of the Dark Order, and then just something ticking him off, and next thing you know, he's the Fiend. And it's really like the Dark Order trying to control the Fiend after that, Oh my gosh, there's so many stories that can come from this.
And then,
I really want that to happen.
It's funny because in Twitter, he is right now teasing a mask that he's going to have. I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, y'all better get ready because it's going to happen. I'm predicting it right here on WNR podcast.
If you told me at the beginning of this year that the likes of CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and potentially The Fiend are coming to AEW, I would have said...
Adam Cole, exactly.
Even potentially even Adam Cole, I would have said like you're stupid. That's not gonna happen. But
you don't think Adam Cole's gonna come to AEW?
Well, I think he is definitely.
But we wouldn't have that a year ago. That's what we were speaking about earlier.
Yeah, but him, what he said in I think one of the dirt sheets that I read, he said that his Twitch channel It's not going anywhere. What does that tell you? WWE's not going to allow him. They're going to give him a contract. Okay, and you could use the third party channels, whatever, because then you're creating this big problem with other wrestlers who had their third channel taken away. So I see him going to AEW. I see him having after tonight. His contract is over.
Definitely. I'm an avid subscriber of Adam Cole's channel. I know he's not going anywhere, and there is no way he's giving up that channel for WWE. And why would he when his missus is over being one of probably the biggest over female wrestler in AEW right now.
The baddest bitch on the block.
She really is the baddest bitch on the block. Although, don't get me wrong, she's still my hero. She's my number one. But Britt Baker is just on another level, you know? Like, I've watched AEW from the beginning. I've watched how she came in as a face and turned as a heel and how well that's worked for her. She's got all the lights in the world to be, you know, a real top-tier, world-famous female wrestler.
James, you forgot one individual that was released this year.
Ooh.
Lana.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Lana.
Come on now. Yay. What do you mean?
No, I'm just telling James you forgot one. Lana.
I quietly skipped over it, but I didn't.
Can I just say a big fuck you to WWE for putting her through all those tables just to say bye, bitch. Like,
yeah, that's true. But they were getting back at Miro for that, and
like she didn't even get a redemption arc out of that or anything. They just said, yeah, bye, bitch.
But you can but think about it, and I don't blame WWE for doing this. I'm gonna tell you why. Before Miro left WWE, before he left WWE, Lana was trying to get Miro to sign a 5-year deal. This was the time when WWE was trying to sign everybody on a 5-year deal. She ended up signing a 5-year deal. Miro was like, I'm not signing no 5-year deal. So she went against his wish, because if you love your man, you wait what your man is going to do. You stood there and you thought,
that's very true, actually.
If you figure like, oh, well, my husband left, I stood true to the company, they're going to push me. No, she took 9 weeks of tables. 9 weeks, that's 2 months worth of tables, just to put a proof of point that your husband left, and now look at you now. This is same thing's gonna happen to what's her name, Selena Vega. Selena Vega came back to help The Rock's daughter. Yeah, she came back to help The Rock's daughter, and it blew up in her face because she thought they were never gonna get rid of Malachi Black, and they ended up doing that after a week after she,
I just can't seem to. I honestly can't seem to wrap my head around why Zelina would have even thought to return. Only because, again, I was a huge fan of her Twitch page, and I never thought she'd kind of give that up to actually go back to the company that let her go when she was making much more on her Twitch page. You know, so I'm still baffled as to why Zelina decided to go back there, especially when she was definitely made aware that Andrade was itching to leave and trying to leave at the time. She easily could have probably come over here to AEW with him. I bet you any money Tony Khan would have signed her definitely straight away as soon as he signed Andrade, just to actually be the talking piece because they were so good together.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors once she left, and
they were
talking about even putting her with Santana and Ortiz at one point. But then they were saying that she signed some contract with a promotion that wasn't AEW. So, now look what she's at right now.
Right.
I'm going to just shoot my shot right now. If anyone from AEW are listening and they do want a female person to go with Santana and Ortiz, I volunteer myself as tribute. So please give me a call. I'm at Jaxie Scarlett. Thank you very much. I'm actually wearing my Proud and Powerful t-shirt at the moment. I love those two. So please.
Right, so at the moment we are, as everybody know, we're live. It is just nearly 10 past 11 now. Kickoff for SummerSlam starts at midnight, so it means we've got about 50 minutes left, and there's at least 3 things I do want to hit, and one of them is basically a pipe bomb of my own. If it's indulged for a few minutes, I'll tell 3 out the past. If anybody else will join in, means it's basically.
It's legal.
This is fine, but it's COVID. I know a lot of people with COVID, and this might bring a few people down, whoever it is, but I think it's just to talk about it because the 19th in the UK was Freedom Day, a day where everything was open up for everybody with no distance rules, and of course COVID we've been dealing for a year and a half. Well, July 19th, Freedom Day, I did positive for COVID. And this was due to the fact, and I'm going to go into the detail because I'm very young. I've been open to the people that are on the podcast, and again, I'd like guys to be a part of it. And of course, how it originally started with Dan. And as everybody knows, this is the anniversary show. Dan did come back to shows. And unfortunately, as we were recording one, he got the positive test, which ended up with me getting it that day. The thing is, and like I say, with Dan, the only thing is I know that he didn't mean for me to get it, but he has not been in contact since it's happened. Which, again, you could... maybe certain things you don't want to get, me in your ear or anything like this, but I think it was time, to maybe step up and just kind of hold your hand out and let's see if we can work on this. And in actual fact, he's done the opposite and kind of moved away. So, obviously, Dan is no longer going to be a part of the show, which is a shame. And maybe in a couple of years' time, when he finally decides to come back and speak to me, we might do a show about that. But that's history now. With me here, we're going to look at the kind of future of what the podcast holds. I will say I've been double jabbed since then, but that 10 days of isolation, probably the saddest and worst that I've been in a very long time. Only in a mental way, but physically as well. About my parents maybe catching it and all this kind of stuff. Luckily, nothing did. But even now, there was a thing at work the other day where someone else tested positive, so it is still there. So anybody who's listening who hasn't had a second vaccination or doesn't believe in it, it is closer than it ever has been. And it's not just my story, it's many other people as well. And I thought I just needed to get that off my chest. I don't know if anybody else has any encounters with it or has any stories about COVID, but it's still a horrible, horrible thing.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Listen, and I know me and Eugene spoke when we did the homecoming. I think I believe I had just came back from Florida, and I ended up hugging one of my friends that I haven't seen in years. And the next day, his wife called saying that he was positive for COVID. So now I was like, oh my God, now I'm gonna have it because I know I hugged him. After being 3 or 4 days being out there, I came back to New York, and the following day I did a test. I came out positive for COVID. Finally, yesterday, I was able to come out negative, so I'm good. And I understand how you feel because those 10 days, it seems like forever. It seems you don't know what day it is. You start worrying about a lot of stuff. And I was more worried for my daughter because my daughter was with me. She, luckily enough, she was negative through the whole 10-day quarantine. But yeah, people need to start taking the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that Dan pretty much, kind of disappeared or whatever. But sometimes people need their time to really evaluate their life and see things because this is a scary thing. I lost friends, family to this COVID stuff. And it's very scary. To deal with it, because I got lucky. I didn't get the symptoms that were real bad, fever and bad cough because I was vaccinated already. But I had that encounter. I'm glad that it's over with or whatever. I'm glad that you were able to recuperate quick. But yeah, so this was my close encounter with it, and actually I got it. So I say at least I got it. I don't have to worry about it because I got vaccinated. So my body was able to recover very quickly. No quick. I still feel, sometimes a little lightheaded, whatever. That's part of the virus. It's still in the body, whatever. But I'm not, contagious right now.
No, that's good to
I
hear.
want to say that I'm to hear that. You know, you're both doing well. I've been lucky enough to have not caught it as of yet, and I'm fully vaccinated now as well. But you know, I know how much this has affected everyone, and the kind of stories and things like that. You know, both have trying to look out for as well yourself. I'm glad that you guys were able to recover and that there was no long battery effect, not just yourselves but your family. I'm going to look out with that. However, as you said, we've got to look at the future. The future is watching.
Yeah, and like I said, an important thing as well, listening, is if you do get it, or if you're worried about other people contacting, with masks, with socially distance, with washing your hands, it proves that what I say is that Dan gave it to me. Yes, he didn't mean I didn't pass it on to anybody. It got stopped at the cause because of the things that happened.
Measures being taken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just proves if you do it right, it can there as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, some people sometimes, Dan has his reasons, and maybe he needs time to think about it. Like, look, I was with him and I gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? It'll come around. I'm saying just in time, whatever. But we got a lot of wrestling to look into. We probably didn't get to finish the New Japan Resurgence. I'm gonna do another fantasy booking right now, real quick. The Brothers of Destiny versus the Good Brothers, and I'll say it probably happened either at Bound for Glory or on the AEW. So I'll say it right now.
Interesting.
Because they had a face-off. They had a face-off in the Japan Resurgence. So, which is very interesting. And it's funny because sometimes I kept telling Carl Anderson, smack me. And Carl Anderson would not touch him, and they backed off. So, listen, there's a lot of wrestling going on, and I'm glad that we get distracted with that instead of what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of course, we gotta be careful. We gotta be vigilant on what's going on, whatever. But look, we got something that I never thought I'd be part of, as being part of this whole, podcast right now. And look, I thank you. It's been a year already. Believe that, a year that I'm in your podcast already. So
same here, man.
Yeah, it's been a year. Yeah. So he I don't know how he found me, but I don't have no regrets, and I want to continue working with you guys, Monty and Shotzi. What's her name? Shotzi?
Jaxie.
Shotzi. Yeah. So what I'm saying, maybe I'll have you guys on my podcast. You know what I'm saying? Or we consider this thing. I'm glad that I'm able to show a little bit of the knowledge I know about the business and whatnot. And James, of course, I'll get in your case all the time. So you might. Yeah. So you can't ask for nothing better than that. For educated minds about the wrestling business. You're not gonna see this anywhere in the IWC. You know what I'm saying? We do all the stuff because we love doing what we're doing. And, of course, we're gonna get some critics, but who cares? That's on that.
I think that's an excellent point there. Right, we are, like I said, we've got about 45 minutes left. There's still a couple of things we want to go through. One of them is at SummerSlam, believe it or not, because we have been doing a show for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we are going to talk about the pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
So, I'm going to run through each. So, first match on SummerSlam we can talk about is Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. And who wants to take this? One of you got to take it.
Is this going on the pre-show? Is this going to be on the pre-show, or
please let it be?
Because
the doll's going to be wrestling.
I'm going to say no comment. I don't really want to comment on this because I don't really have anything nice to say. And my dad always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I'm going to leave one of the others to take this one.
I'll do it for you.
Thank goodness.
I'll do it for you. This match is going to probably, first of all, Eva Marie should be nowhere near a square circle, number one. And so, most likely, they're going to hit in the time with the doll, and Alexa Bliss going to win.
So you're saying...
At least you say her name.
Yeah, what we're going to do...
Yeah.
What we're going to do is predictions, because the WNR team has been challenged by Match Pod. Select Match Pod have challenged us on predictions. So we're going to all our individual predictions, and then we'll have maybe better in a group situation, so to speak. So predictions for that first match. Is everybody saying Bliss? Is everybody?
Yeah.
Please let Alexa win.
Please.
And I don't say that much.
What's the name of the doll?
Lily.
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 Lily's gonna win, not Alexa Bliss.
No,
As long as it ain't Eva, we're good.
And it will be a roll up. Oh no.
Oh God! Yeah,
no,
I won't
don't
put
do
it past
that.
him. I won't put it past him. She's gonna roll by herself and they're gonna put the doll next to her.
Oh my God.
Next match then. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal, the match we've all been waiting
Jinder.
I think it's gonna be a hard-hitting match, being that these two guys used to be in the group. But you know there's gonna be outside interference by the other two guys. I don't know their names. Don't care to know their names.
Shanky.
Shanky and Veer, but they're barred from ringside. They're ringside, as I said.
Oh, they've been barred from ringside?
Yeah,
Yeah, Bart. Yeah.
destroyed them on Raw. So
Oh my God! So I could still see Jinder Mahal getting a win over Drew McIntyre.
Oh my God.
He's gonna cheat. He's gonna cheat. You're not gonna have Drew beat Jinder Mahal because then it kills the whole purpose of him coming out with his two guys. This is something he's either gonna cheat. Something's gonna happen. You know, some guy's gonna come with a hood, distract the referee. Gonna get hit with a sword. Who knows? He might get stabbed. Who knows? But I got
See,
Jinder Mahal.
that, and there we go. Thank you for mentioning stabbing, because that's my prediction. Drew McIntyre wins via stabbing.
God damn.
be it stabbing or decapitation, because that would be
Yeah.
DQ finish.
Yeah, DQ.
Good news is you won the match. Bad news is your head is in row F now.
I got Jinder
That's how
Mahal.
Jinder wins. He stabs him.
Yeah,
That's how Jinder wins.
I got Jinder Mahal winning that.
Yeah, I think we should all go with that because that would be my initial thought as well as Jinder.
Well, everybody's going Jinder with that. You fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, I honestly,
No way. No way.
No, I go with
Hey.
Jinder, and my
Jinder Mahal.
argument here.
It's Jinder Mahal, so he's gonna win.
Okay, Monty,
Yeah.
Monty, you and I can be on the team. Jackson and the Ultimate One now at the moment.
Right. They can have their own team.
Let me hear me out. I'm not like it's not like I'm saying I want him to win. I think that WWE love dirty tactics, and Jinder Mahal is like one of those characters that just genuinely uses them all. And I just see like a big upset where everyone wants Drew to win, but I see it being Jinder that's going to take the win.
And you got to think also that WWE caters also India, so we're talking about
Come on, man.
yeah. That's how
No,
But the thing is,
Can't let McIntyre lose the opening match at WrestleMania and lose the next against Mahal. They just
no, but like they can't have
Losing to
Mahal
Bobby Lashley
back.
is one thing, but Mahal.
No, but the thing is they can't have Mahal come back looking like he's trying to be some big badass just to lose in his first few back.
Exactly.
You guys,
Remember again.
they don't care.
Yeah, listen, it's all about
Exactly.
it's all about the Indian market. I'm telling you, they're gonna watch Jinder Mahal win. We'll talk about this when we get our next time. Matter when you come to my podcast, I'm gonna tell you, I told you so.
You know what? I'll be right there on stage and saying it. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Oh my God, we're screwed, James.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see this
I'm
coming.
gonna be like Kurt Hennig. I ain't gonna be the type of guy to tell you, I told you so. I told you so.
Right. United States title match. Sheamus versus Damian Priest. Monty, who do you think?
I will root for Priest, but I really believe Sheamus will return. I think he's really just getting going. Like he busted, broke, his nose exploded, so that kind of halted what they were planning to do at the beginning. But he's a great champion to me. I love Sheamus, so I think he's gonna win.
I've gone off.
I-
Right, Jackson. What do you think?
No,
I'll
I
let
completely
Jackson
agree.
say. What you got?
I completely agree. I think that even though Damian Priest would be good to win, I don't think he will. I think Sheamus will retain. I think Sheamus has got a lot more to kind of offer at the moment, and
Exactly.
it's time for him to not be champ. I think he's got quite a long way to go in terms of just being able to like show what he can really do, and I think that they're still trying to get there with him.
Now, with me, the only reason I will go for Damian Priest because he's my fellow Puerto Rican brother. But the reason I will pick, I would say Sheamus will win. I think we still feel that Damian Priest didn't push me to look good. I think they're still punishing him over that, and the fact that before the Miz and the Miz ended up breaking his leg, they punished him for that. I think I mean Sheamus, but I would like Damian Priest, but I think Sheamus is going to take.
Well, Damian Priest is going to win because he'll be feuding with Ross and Miz for the next 6 months. So it's time.
Oh,
Oh Lord, please, can they?
Don't do
But they've
that.
already doing this.
James,
He's
if I
been
can't
feuding with them forever.
if I can't
No,
see
I'm
tonight,
wrong.
I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you. I don't want to see no more fans. I don't want to
No,
see
I'm
no
really done with
drip
that,
or drip. I don't want to see no damn drip.
I do not want a moist belt.
Oh, well,
Do
the
not
most
want a moist
moist
belt.
C WWE superstar.
I mean,
Whet your
I've still
appetite.
not forgiven. I've still not forgiven them for this whole zombie shit that they did. Okay, so
Oh
let's
my
just
God, I remember
let's
that.
just not go
Now,
there. Okay.
That make your punishment
Too
theory
bad,
really
guys.
strong, by the way, ultimately.
Yeah,
That felt like punishment.
Oh my God, when I
It
saw
really
that shit,
did.
I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? Am I looking at Walking Dead? What the hell? And then the screen, I think the arena was red. Oh, I can't.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
I can't.
I didn't mind
See?
it.
Oh, shit. You're
See
not
this
such
shit?
bullshit.
You hear this
That's
shit?
not
Say he
bullshit.
liked it. James,
I thought you said earlier. Ultimately, I thought you said earlier it was for people with wrestling minds. I thought educated.
I don't know. But this guy, I guess he was watching the wrong channel. He thought he was watching Walking Dead.
Ah, okay. He saw something else.
That's what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna forgive you for that, James.
Right, up next, SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos versus the Mysterios. Who wants to take it?
Usos for me.
I
I
think
have no
Usos.
explanation other than
Okay.
it'll be fun to watch.
What is it? What is it that they said? Welcome to the penitentiary. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm welcome. I'm taking Usos. Welcome to the penitentiary.
Yep.
Unless Jimmy comes with a beer. So.
Please say Uso penitentiary
Oh,
because you don't want to go
She's
to
on the
a
way to
regular
the ring.
Yeah, coming in with a
Oh
fucking
Lord,
with a
Oh,
bow
Razor-
lighter.
My page, yeah.
WCW Scott Hall. Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, with a fucking
PTSD.
with Jack Daniels in his fucking cup. Matter of fact, call what is it? The Street Profits. They got that red cup to put some alcohol.
God damn, he'll have that special juice, yeah.
Oh, Jimmy gonna do the splash and throw up on some match.
Oh my gosh.
Next up.
I'm happy. Usos. The Raw Tag
Yep.
Team titles, AJ and Omos versus RK Bro. And I gotta say, I hate Matt Riddle as much as the
Oh
next
my
man, but this has been alright actually. Let's see who
Yeah.
you
Sorry, against who?
AJ and Omos versus RK Bro.
I guess. I mean, for me, I'm just gonna go with AJ and Omos. But let me just say, I haven't watched the past 2-3 weeks of Raw.
It's
So,
been brilliant.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
You've been.
I mean, I didn't really know much about. I don't know much about this feud, but I mean, I don't see Omos losing to anyone. So
Fair
I'm gonna
enough.
go with them.
Listen, I'm saying RK Bro for the simple fact because they're pushing that storyline where the pothead wants to hang out with the expert predator.
Why though? What pothead want to hang out with dangerous people?
I don't know. I don't. But how you call it?
Well, I mean, like I don't either.
But how you call it? Holmes and AJ, I think they just prove the fact that they just don't. To me, as far as them being a team, it just don't add up to me. Like you got this goofy dude who just throws people around. He has no wrestling skill. So I'm going with RK Bro.
Yeah, I've got to back RK Bro. That Monty.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, RK Bro. I feel like you mentioned, they're obviously heading that way. Only thing is, to me, if they don't win, I won't mind it because Randy could just turn on them tonight and get it out the way. So,
Or
I mean, I
Randy
thought
just.
he had turned on him already. Has
Yeah,
he not?
so
did.
fair enough. Fair enough. I
That's
forgot
right.
they've already.
he did. He,
Like weeks ago.
yeah, but
and
he
whatnot.
realised that he liked him because he didn't moan about it. So, you know.
That's the big storyline. Anyway, I could
Right.
see the RKO on Awesomeness, whatever, Oldness. I could see Randy hitting that on him, but that's if he knows how to take it. If he doesn't know how to take it,
Break
he'll
his
look
fucking
ugly.
neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Raw Women's
Styles great. He's great. By the way.
Oh, yeah, AJ.
Just want to say that.
He is
I can't
phenomenal.
talk about Jay Styles. It's
hell
something
no.
he's involved in mentioning AJ. I love AJ.
Yeah.
Um,
AJ's the man, but that's a messed up tactic.
Raw Women's Champion Ash, Rhea Ripley,
Nikki
Flair.
ass.
Nikki almost a superhero, and you might make her very cross if you say that. We've got Rhea Ripley and of course Charlotte Flair. This is Charlotte's to lose, isn't it?
No, Charlotte's probably gonna end up winning this shit.
I mean,
Charlotte's
really-
winning that shit. Charlotte's winning that
I really-
shit. I'm gonna tell you why. Charlotte's gonna win it. Why? Because Becky Lynch is in the horizon of coming back.
yeah, but can we just not have a Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley feud?
Right.
Like-
Can we start off fresh with something
We
new?
start-
Oh, I forgot.
And I'm gonna
Sorry,
tell you
bro.
why.
He's just chucking the title on China. I am so sick of her. Go take a break or something, girl. Like, I don't need to see China Flair with the title again.
Sounds like go away heat.
Rhea Ripley,
Yes, no way.
Rhea Ripley, they messed her up when the minute she lost to Charlotte last year's WrestleMania. So her coming back to wrestle Becky Lynch or Becky Lynch to wrestle Rhea Ripley, it's not. I see
You see the exact same thing
Charlotte
ruining
again.
Oscar's streak with Charlotte
Charlotte-
Flair at that WrestleMania.
Charlotte's gonna win
PTSD.
the title. Charlotte's gonna win the title, and we're gonna see Becky Lynch come back on Monday Night Raw this Monday.
Really?
That's my.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hot take.
I'm gonna say that Becky Lynch will confront the champion, but it won't be of Raw. It will be on SmackDown, and after SummerSlam, face of Bianca Belair. That will be something I think
That would
really
be
special.
amazing. Give me that.
Yeah.
I think I'm more excited to hear about that than the potentialness of her turning up on Raw and just yet again facing Charlotte. No one cares. No one cares.
Well, I like.
Overall, though, I want Nikki. I want
No,
Nikki
it's
to.
not. It's not even that I don't like Charlotte, but she doesn't need to be in a title picture. She really doesn't.
Yeah.
They just put the belt on her whenever they get scared, and that, like, maybe ratings aren't doing well, and they think that she can like pick things back up again.
She can put
Just
people
don't put
over
the
with just
belt
her
on
name
her.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she don't need a
just
belt.
not
They can
put
just, she can get people over with just her name.
But if you
Exactly.
think about it, I mean, WWE doesn't care to promote
No.
anybody else who's not Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair. After that, you have nobody else in there. So they're gonna give you the same thing. They don't care about the fans. They don't. So
With that being said, I want Nikki Ash to lose and turn back to Cross and go crazy. But I doubt they'll care that much to even do that.
I was
They're probably gonna make
saying
her.
I want Nikki Cross back.
They're gonna release her.
No, the
No.
thing is with Nikki Cross is why not have an alternate ego? We've seen this on Raw recently, like beating up Charlotte.
Exactly.
What about a superhero character? It's like, yeah, but don't make me angry because I turn into Nikki Cross. And it's like Mick Foley's the only guy allowed. Like Nikki Cross, it works so well
Yeah.
for her because she could play crazy as we've seen it in NXT, and then if
But
Nikki
see-
Ash stuff to it as well.
But you're being creative, and we know Raw creative.
Your creativity and WWE here don't mean shit. No. You know what I'm saying? It's nice booking. and
Yeah, do not
everything.
approach WWE with logic. Do not approach WWE with
Don't
logic.
Bruce Pritchard or John Laurinaitis or any of this shit that they're gonna tell you people power and they're gonna tell you yeah.
That was Austin. Sorry.
Oh my God, people power, PTSD,
Yeah.
PTSD.
It's and don't be surprised if Nikki Ash loses the belt tonight, right? And then in a couple of weeks they let her go.
Right, so who are we going to go for? Because we didn't actually decide. So
Charlotte.
Does it really matter? We just killed this man.
I know.
It's Charlotte. What?
right, so everyone's saying
Yeah,
Monty. What you saying?
I'm going Charlotte too. I guess.
Jackson?
I'm going Charlotte. Screw it.
I'm gonna let you boys choose because I'm just not gonna choose because I refuse to actually even pick her.
No, go
So
on. You got to
I'm
say
just
it.
gonna say.
You've got to say it.
I'm about to say, what do we do with the tie?
Do you know what? I'm gonna go with Rhea Ripley because I
What?
refuse to actually say that Charlotte Flair will win because I don't want her to win, so I don't want to jinx it.
You don't want to see Charlotte.
So I'm gonna say Rhea, but as part of the WNR team, you guys go with the majority vote.
I've had a great idea because
Hold up.
I literally was putting down the predictions, and then I've realised if we're clever and post one result for one and then the other result for one, and either way we might win, you know. So I think that's what we're gonna do. See if they work it out.
It's 3 against 1.
Logic.
So Charlotte's gonna win it. Watch.
Right, so
Probably right. I just don't know now.
right up next we've got like looking forward to, and it is Edge
Really?
versus.
Okay, yeah,
Should
me
be
too.
interesting matchup. Who do we think is going to win this one? Start with you, Monty.
Oh my goodness, this is actually tough. I don't really. It's hard for me to see Edge losing, but man, this is rough. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the roughest predictions for me. I'm going with Edge. Maybe I'm picking with my heart, but I would not be surprised if Seth wins. I said Edge though. Edge.
What about you?
I mean, yeah, if I was to choose with my heart, I'd say Edge, but I do feel like Seth has just, I don't know, I just feel like Seth is going to just sneakily get this win. So as much as I want to choose Edge because I love him, I'm going to have to go with Seth.
I'm going Edge, all because of nostalgia. WWE and their bullshit nostalgia. So Seth could take a loss. Because then it'll stop him from going after Roman Reigns.
my
Because
God,
that's why he
I
wants the title. So nostalgia, Edge.
I forgot Edge went Gangrel last night. So yeah, they definitely going. He's winning. He's gonna come out full Gangrel style.
He went Gangrel last night?
Yeah, I just thought about that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
it
he
was
left a bloodbath for Seth.
Was it
Oh, my
bloodbath or like
God.
But it
black
wasn't
goo
blood. It
bath?
wasn't
Yeah,
blood.
it was like
Yeah,
black
it wasn't
goo.
blood.
It was red wine.
Looked like sludge.
It didn't look like, if you went to your car and that was leaking out the bottom of it, you're getting like someone called in.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
But I do agree though that I feel like Seth can't afford to take the loss. So yeah, we'll just kind of see what happens, I suppose.
Well, I've put Rollins
What do you
and Edge
think?
anyway, just to be safe, you know. So we've got
Well, you proposed.
Man, who you got?
well, I'm going to
Pick
Both.
so
Both.
I think Edge.
It's gonna be a draw.
What kind of prediction shit is this? You picking both?
No, I've gone
It's
Edge.
gonna be a draw.
Look, on one list, I've got Bliss, Mahal, Sheamus, Usos, Imos, and AJ. The other one I've got Entire Priest, Charlotte, and I'm going to put Rollins down on this one. And then it'll kind of even itself out, like I say. I personally think Edge will win this match. I hear you talk about nostalgia, or nostalgic than watching a fantastic Goldberg match, and he's going to be in action for the WWE Championship.
You let me down.
How dare you?
First,
You drastically just let me down.
I don't really care for this match, if I'm truly honest. And I love Roman.
You in the world.
But I'm just, I am, again, probably just moaning, but I just don't need to keep seeing Goldberg come out of retirement.
Oh, you talking about Oldberg?
Yeah,
Yes. We're talking about Billy Oldman.
really Oldberg, you know, that one.
Oldenburger.
I think if Goldberg wins the belt, I total respect for the whole company, because this man lost to Drew McIntyre in January, and he's gonna come and beat Bobby Lashley. I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley. I think Bobby Lashley's gonna beat him. Something's gonna happen.
I'm not religious, and I'm praying for Bobby to win.
And the fact that they,
honestly, I want that to happen.
Have you guys noticed that every time Goldberg comes out, his son is winning? So don't be surprised if his son turns on him. Oh, that's something that ruins Goldberg's quest.
They're going to involve the 15-year-old.
Somebody's going to do that with Ray, so they probably save the Goldberg feud for a couple of years, you know what I mean? Like, when we've got all these fantastic sons like Dominic Mysterio...
Dominic to take Ray match.
You know, Saudi Arabia show coming up. So what's stopping the fact Goldberg?
No.
If it comes
No.
The possibility is there.
Shoot me.
Listen, you're doing predictions. You're putting that in the universe. I don't want to see no damn Goldberg winning the title at all. You know what I'm saying?
You speaking for all of us.
Yeah.
Joe, let's not talk about that again because I don't want that prediction to ever come true.
Look, if Goldberg wins,
you should have just wrote Bobby Lashley.
Look, if it happens, it happens.
If Goldberg wins, I'm blaming you.
Yeah, you brought this energy into my life.
I brought it for worse. I will continue.
You brought this to yourself.
SmackDown Women's Championship match: Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. I'm trying to think in my mind another rematch from WrestleMania I've looked forward to as much to seeing as this one, and I don't think there is because they smashed out of the park there. And barring injuries or not being on the card as the rumours were, this match. Who do we think then? Jaxie, who are you going to go for? Because I know you love both of these women.
Yeah, I was about to just say that these two are just absolute queens in the ring. They're both going to slay regardless as to the outcome tonight. I personally do not mind either one winning. However, I am going to stick with my girl Bianca because she is just on a roll right now, and she really should just keep going with it. She's so strong. She's proved so much. I just really love seeing her in this position right now, and I just think that they'd be kind of silly to take the belt off of her so quickly. Although it's just going to be a great match tonight. I won't be too disappointed if Sasha wins either because I love her.
Well, listen, I don't think they're going to replicate the match they had in WrestleMania, but I'm sure they're going to probably put a good performance. I see Bianca Belair retaining the belt. And like you said earlier, I don't know which one of you guys. I think one of you guys said that maybe Becky Lynch will show up at SmackDown on next Friday. I mean, I see Bianca Belair winning. I don't see Sasha Banks getting the belt back because she had her run and it was good. Their match that they had at WrestleMania, I think, was the best match I've seen in the whole 2 nights on WrestleMania, besides the Roman Reigns and the 3-way. But you know. Will they be able to top that match? I don't know. That's going to be hard to do. But you never know. If WWE lets them do what they want to do, they could probably take over the whole show tonight. So I mean,
I'm not expecting them to be able to like maybe hit the same peak that they had at their WrestleMania match. However, I do think it is going to be just as good. But yeah, like you said, if WWE just let them go at it, they could really hit us.
You said everything you guys just said. Everything. Bianca's winning. They're probably gonna kill it again. Like you said, if they just let no strings attached, let them do what they have to do. Those finishes added to it. I think they can, and Bianca will.
Yeah, there is the favourite in that one. But then again, with WWE, surprised if Banks was to get the victory, leading rubber match that they all love. But I think Belair would be the favourite. And then finally, the main event of SummerSlam, Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Monty, you can kick us off with this. What do you think is going to happen? This is pretty obvious, isn't
it? Honestly, I was for a while. And Cena said some interesting things. His promo that made me think, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going with Roman, especially since Roman screwed it up for me. Honestly, I think a great man. But last night he mentioned that if he's leaving WWE, there's no way to the table in WWE. So that's there goes your finish for me. That's honest. No way. Roman losing Cena and leaving, right? Yeah, he said it last night. If he loses,
No,
he's
he
leaving.
said
So.
that. Yeah, nah, that definitely kind of solidifies like kind of that he's gonna kind of win really. But then again, for me, I didn't see John Cena winning because of the fact that he is a Hollywood actor. He has probably got other movies in the works. He's in finished size. Like it's just kind of a no-brainer in terms of who's going to still be running things in the long run, and that's not John Cena.
Well, I have a range for the simple fact. First of all, I'm even asking myself this question: why in the hell is John Cena wrestling Roman Reigns again when they did this like 2 or 3 years ago? And Roman Reigns beat him and whatnot. And Roman Reigns, even though he was a babyface, he was the underdog, and the people were cheering more. So I don't know what's the difference now. Probably because of title involved, and now.
According to Paul Heyman, no one beats Roman Reigns. So that's the difference, according to Paul Heyman.
Okay, so well, Roman is not in the belt. So no John Cena. And you guys made a point. Cena has a lot of Hollywood stuff on his pocket. He's making a bunch of movies and all that. If Cena wins the belt, and I said this before, Roman Reigns is not on the belt, one, because if Cena wins the belt, the ratings of SmackDown will fall. Nobody wants to see John Cena. Okay? Roman Reigns is the guy who's holding SmackDown at that $2 million a week. Okay? Because of people with But like I said, if he loses the belt, that'll be a very stupid move on WWE's part, and you lose a lot of fans who are not going to watch.
We just got over the Brock Lesnar era.
Yeah, so
Great.
who wants to see John Cena as a champion? No one. No one wants to see that. It's time came and won.
Well, I mean,
I was waiting for James.
Oh, here we go.
Inevitably, make biggest surprise ever if John Cena's 17-time champion at and Reigns, bitten off more shoe, promised out on SmackDown
out of
now,
pettiness,
has to realise that you have to leave WWE.
I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna have to get on James right now with this. James, let's be real. Who cares about 17 World Championship? He's gonna. If it does happen, it's gonna be petty again.
It's gonna be out of pettiness.
It's out of pettiness because there's no way in the world WWE knows what they have. They know if Roman Reigns loses and give the belt back to John Cena, it's already. You think Roman Reigns will lose? It's all about the USA Network, well, mostly Fox. We're talking about Fox put $3 billion WWE's hand. Had this man last year into this, unbeatable force. He has beaten everybody. And all of a sudden now, John Cena beat Roman Reigns for the title when he didn't beat him years ago. Come on, and this Roman Reigns is more dominant than he's for. So there's no way in the world. Forget about Team Worker. Okay.
I think the only time we actually are going to see, Roman Reigns potentially lose the title would be when they actually start building up a decent babyface that is actually going to overcome him. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Well, exactly. I don't know if I can actually see Big E doing any form of cash in during this run. I think he'll probably just tease it but not actually do it. I think that he's probably biding his time because I do think that, if done right, Big E should be the one to take the belt off Roman. But, I don't think it's the right time just yet. I think he should hold on to that belt a little bit longer.
And I totally forgot that Big E is the Money Night winner.
Yeah, you guys just reminded me.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they do it correctly and they do it right, they'll wait. Because remember, the Money in the Bank, they made a joke out of it last year with Otis and the cheeseburger he had in a sandwich in the damn case, whatever it was. But this time, if they play it smart, you wait and you utilize Big E as the dominant wrestler. He still got the, and then he catches in either Money in the Bank. I mean, not Money in the Bank, WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, either one. But right now, you can't take the belt away from Roman Reigns. No way. I don't care who comes. Even The Rock, when he comes, if he wrestle Roman at WrestleMania, not even him touching him, nothing. So either, I say Big E probably, and I'm going fantasy booking here, if Big E doesn't cash in the Money in the Bank by Royal Rumble, most definitely he'll cash it at Roman Reigns or beats whoever, because they're looking at Rock against Roman for next year. So, I mean, I don't see John Cena winning. One, John Cena got too many movies, so sorry, no team title win, mister.
So that is fine. So we've worked out the SummerSlam prediction, and basically we've all different every. So that's great. But like I said, we'll send 2 teams of our predictions to Select Match Pod, and then we'll work the scores when we do live. Right. So it looks like it's 10 to midnight now, so the kickoff's going to start 10 minutes. Before we wrap things up, and if there's just one important thing that I want to say. When I was a young boy, I always wanted to look like a wrestler. As time went on, I didn't get that call from WWE. It kind of got hard. I've not had a haircut for 7 years now. I wondered when or if I would ever get cut again. Well, I honestly think the time is now, having found a great charity to donate to. The Little Princess Trust, founded in memory of 5-year-old Hannah Tarpley, supplies real hair with charge. Children and young people up to the age 24 who have lost their hair through cancer treatment are able to be provided with life-changing wigs. My goal is simple: to raise awareness of Little Princess, to raise money, and to donate my hair. But firstly, to cut my hair, we must raise of £200 for charity. Look, once we've reached the goal, I will give my hair wingly. We have 2 months. People, you can donate to Facebook. Also, I'm going to put it on Twitter as well. As long as we use that money, will happen on the Halloween special. Like I said, the people that listen to the podcast are amazing. I know you'll get behind this so much as well. So that is what I've got planned for the next couple of months. Like I said, I mean, guys, you might not know I've got like this long flowing hair. You know, unfortunately, it is
Jungle
time
Boy
to.
Jungle Boy hair flow.
Oh, hey, it's better than that. You know, like I say, it's better there. Like I could have it.
I actually want to see that.
But like, more stuff on Twitter and Facebook trying to raise money for this fantastic cause. And like I said, if things work out, then in 2 months' time on a Halloween show, we can cut and then donate that as well as an extra bonus. But that is pretty much it for today's show. Nearly 3 hours flown, 50 in. I know, Jaxie, you joined us a little bit late, but you've enjoyed yourself being on, haven't you?
Of course I have. It's been great, actually, just getting a chance to hear other people's points of view as well. I'm not alone.
Yeah, it's been good time.
Oh man, this was very, very fun. I'm very grateful to be here. I'm glad that that I got a chance to do this with you guys. I've done a couple of podcasts with multiple people, but this is by far some of the most fun I've ever had. Just talking about wrestling, talking about what we love. I can tell all of you are very passionate and love wrestling the same way. It's so cool to come with people. All you guys, I think both of you guys are from London, right? Or Jackson.
Yeah, we are.
I'm from London. That is just look. I'm not racist, but to say that I'm from London.
I mean, I'm based in London.
James, ain't you from London or UK? Which one is it?
What's the difference?
What's the difference? UK,
London.
Great Britain is the accumulation of England, Scotland, Wales. England,
Listen,
London's the capital. I'm kind of in the south east. Jackson, up north.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna give away our like that bit.
Well, you gotta understand, we're Americans, so I'm from New York City, and the gentleman here is from Louisiana, right?
Yes, and
that's right next to each other, isn't it?
Louisiana's education system is not the best as far as this country goes, much less yours. So. Do with that what you will. But I'm honored to reach all of you people from around this big ass planet we live on. So,
Definitely. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I had a fun time with you guys. We definitely got to do this. Like I said, the knowledge here of professional wrestling is amazing. And James, every time I come to your show, we have a lot of fun. I mean, I think we should do this at least once a month or twice a month, depending on the time. I mean, this was fun. I never done nothing like this with other podcasters. I have podcasters on my show, but nothing like this, like 3 of us or 4 of us. And I had a good time. And now I learned the difference between K and London. Thanks to you.
Always
So,
here.
yeah, so, but I had a lot of fun, and we definitely got to do this again. And, you know, if you have time, James, or any of y'all, I could have y'all on podcast whenever, you know, I have big time, and we could discuss anything.
Well, like I said, thank you very. Oh, sorry, Jackson. I know you're gonna.
And no, I was just saying, yeah, that would be cool.
Well, yeah, I said the amount of times I talked. I do apologise for that, but I'd just like to thank everybody. Like I said, we're a young boy. It seemed to be that never worked out, but a young boy had a dream to podcast. And little did he know that sick to it. It would be upon America's continued way where we can discuss all sorts of professional wrestling and be serious and maybe take us too seriously, but definitely the product and what we and everything in there. And this has been one of the funnest podcasts. Said this is in our 305 episodes. It's still evolving and still better and better as well. You know, and it's thanks to you, Reese. Take a bow. You know?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Anytime.
No problem.
For that is it. That's it. No, I'm not having that. Don't forget, because yeah, exactly. All social media at the WNR podcast. I'm at the WNRJR. Jaxie, do you want to tell everybody where you are? Not where you live, obviously.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, I'm across Twitter and Instagram at Jaxie Starlet.
Perfect. Monty?
I'm on Twitter at MindMontyPod. Anywhere you look up podcasts, look for the Mind of Monty podcast. I finally uploaded again. So there you go.
Me on Twitter. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and the SummerSlam Wrestling Report. You can find me also on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon Music for new episodes of the SummerSlam Wrestling.
Without a doubt. And of course, WNR also on Facebook and Instagram. Of course, all the good platforms. Email WNR podcast at email.com. YouTube podcast with all the latest clips and podcasts at the same time on YouTube. Let's do SoundCloud on your phone. And also Spotify. You can download, subscribe, rate and review. So that is, and like I said, we should do a big group episode. Even if it's not every, maybe, you know, definitely for the big 4 and stuff like that. It'd be fun to survive as well, you know. But the next episode on the well, you guys are going to be very busy because Monty, you're up next for tomorrow's NXT update, and then it's Tuesday again with you with Takeover. Jaxie, it will be Wednesday for SummerSlam for a release on Friday. On next Saturday, we'll look at Impact stuff, and if you want me to be a guest on your show, by all means.
Yeah, I think next Saturday I want you in my show, so we can go through the AEW All Out. We can talk about a couple of the Impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I'm back.
Perfect. So, yeah, we all know what. So there's no excuse, Monty. All right, I'm not just singling you out for any reason.
No, he definitely did.
I think
did.
Yeah, I think he put a big finger at you.
I did. Did I? Didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Oh, we got heat now.
As long as it's not Mojo heat, I'll be alright.
Oh wait, no, that is still coming though. Remember to tune in to the next 2 episodes because we're gonna find out what this Mojo heat is.
Oh yes, next group episode we could get into the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Sherlock Monty.
Yeah, legal problems going on.
Yeah, we need to find out.
Until we unravel that mystery, like I said, I've been joined by the fantastic Jaxie Starlet, the brilliant Monty, and of course the ultimate one. But I have been James Rowlands.
It's a dope name.
Thanks for thanks for joining me, guys, as well. That is it. Job
Adios.
done.
Yeah.
All right, have a good night.
Bye.
Right, everybody take care and enjoy.
I'll try.
And on that note, I will play the theme.